We welcome you inside Black Eagles Stadium on the beautiful campus of South Charleston High School. Video Productions presenting South Charleston High School football tonight. The Black Eagles at home to take on the Highlanders of Huntington High in a key Mountain State Athletic Conference showdown, along with our great Video Productions crew. Analyst Jim Mahan, I'm Mark Martin. Delighted to have all of you with us. Huntington High coming in at 8-0 on the season, and the Highlanders number 2 in the latest class AAA ratings, right behind the powerful Martinsburg Bulldogs, a orange and black team, and tonight they take on an orange and black team trying to get to 9-0 on the season. Meanwhile, South Charleston in at 5-2, tied for 8th in the latest AAA ratings with Spring Valley, a team that they lost to earlier in the season. SC coming off a second loss of the campaign, a tough loss to Riverside. Riverside spotting the Black Eagles a 14-0 lead. South Charleston would fall to the Warriors by a final of 22-14, so a lot to prove here tonight. Jim Mahan, great to be with you here tonight on what's just an outstanding night for high school football, our 4th Friday night of the season in the month of October. Finally feeling like a football night, isn't it?
This is certainly the weather for it. It's a beautiful venue. South Charleston they're very great hosts. Got a wonderful field, got the bands here, got the teams here. Everybody's ready to go. It's going to be a prime-time night.
All right, if you are Billy Sills and the Huntington Highlanders, the next step in trying to get to 10-0 in the regular season has happened twice with Coach Sills at the helm, so you don't look too far ahead. You know you got a lot of business to take care of here tonight against a very talented Black Eagle team.
Yeah, I think South Charleston is one of those teams that may have been a victim to looking ahead at their schedule because they saw this banner game with Huntington, one of the top-ranked teams in the state, tops in their conference, and then they may have looked a little bit ahead when they played Riverside. So they're certainly not going to be looking ahead, and we know that Coach Seals is going to have his team prepared. He had mentioned to me earlier that his team hasn't played their best football yet, which is a little scary on a team that's 8-0, so we'll just see how they come out tonight.
Well, South Charleston coming off that tough loss against Riverside, defending state champions in what was a very difficult year for a lot of schools in 2020 with COVID-19. And, of course, no one really truly out of the woods yet with the COVID pandemic situation. But we talked to Donnie Mays throughout the week, talked to him again here tonight. He's got a lot of talent on this football team. He will be missing some key parts here tonight, but feels like his team's got a lot to prove after what happened a week ago.
I think there's still a little bit of a sting with Coach Mays from what happened last week. But, yes, like he said, he's had to juggle some things around with some players that were there that aren't there this week. He's got the COVID protocols that he has to deal with. But all the teams have to deal with the COVID protocols. So they're just trying to strap him up and do the best you can. You alluded to earlier about the fact that last year just kind of almost a deadened season where it just kind of abruptly stopped, and there was a declaration of who they were. And hats off to the Black Eagles for a state championship. We know that I think there are some other teams out there that feel like they'd love to have that opportunity to compete for that championship.
Yeah, and I think Coach Mays, again, they embraced it, but obviously they said coming into this season, now we want to do it the way it normally is done, and that is to capture a crown in Wheeling, which they have done, did it in back-to-back years and might have done it 3 straight years, if not for a situation in the playoffs back in 2010, but they won it in 1945, 1994 under Bryce Casto, who is now the athletic director here at South Charleston High School. Again, those back-to-back crowns in 08 and 09, and again in 2020. Huntington looking for its first. Billy Seals has had the Highlanders in the state championship game one time, lost a narrow decision to Martinsburg 9-7, so they feel like they maybe have the type of team that can get to Wheeling when we hit the first weekend in December. A lot of football, though, between now and then, and we got a great showdown for you here tonight. Video Productions bringing you South Charleston and Huntington. We continue with our pregame coverage in a moment from South Charleston High School.
The relationship between a lawyer and a client is based on trust. You have to make certain that the lawyer you hire has your best interest at heart. We typically meet our clients at the worst times of their lives, and it's our job to help them. Over the years, we've been entrusted with some of the biggest cases in West Virginia. That's because we have a track record of success and getting exceptional results. We built a reputation as one of the go-to law firms throughout the state of West Virginia.
Joining me, high-profile lawyer Ben Salengo. Ben, it's a real honor to have you on.
In fact, many of our cases come from other lawyers. Lawyers who've worked with us, lawyers who've worked against us, and even those who've merely heard of our results. We're proud of the reputation we've earned in the community for providing exceptional, aggressive legal representation. When you hire my law firm, you don't get excuses, you get results.
For Kindred Communications, this is home. When other broadcasting companies went nationwide, we stayed home.
This is home.
This is home.
This is home.
6 radio stations broadcasting on 9 signals across 3 states. For Kindred Communications,
This
Is
home.
In the history of Dutch Miller Kia, there has never been a better time to trade in your car. Because of major supply chain disruptions, your vehicle is worth more than it ever has been. Even if you're not looking to trade in your car, we're interested in buying your vehicle at up to 30% above fair market value. We have customers trading in their vehicles that are getting more now than when they paid for it. Learn more and text or chat now at DutchMillerKia.com.
For a limited time, get a brand new 2022 Sportage starting at just $189 a month.
We know who we are, where we've been, where we're going. Like hospitals all over America, we are changing, redefining, restructuring ourselves to be the best community health system in the region we serve. We are 2 hospitals with more than 30 locations, 450 providers, and 1 mission: to heal. As one, we are Thomas Health, caring for our communities today and tomorrow.
No one leaves their home thinking they will be in a car crash. Unfortunately, in West Virginia, more than 1/3 of people killed in car crashes are not wearing their seatbelts. Those who choose to wear their seatbelts stand a good chance to live another day. Law enforcement wants you to have a fighting chance. That's why we are busy making sure everyone is buckled up.
We would rather you arrive safe at all your destinations rather than it be your final destination.
Buckle up, click it, or ticket.
Rob Wheeler is the referee tonight. His crew includes Jody Perkey, Caleb McGrath, Gregory Church, Jason Sanders, Joshua Brannon, and the home-standing Black Eagles coming on to the field here. Coin toss taking place. And
referee had signaled that Charleston had won the coin toss. Mark had elected to defer.
So SC kicking off to Huntington High here to get this one underway in South Charleston. Breakaway, come back in 1 minute, and we'll bring you the kickoff in this Mountain State Athletic Conference Showdown, Huntington and South Charleston.
We know who we are, where we've been, where we're going. Like hospitals all over America, we are changing, redefining, restructuring ourselves to be the best community health system in the region we serve. We are 2 hospitals with more than 30 locations, 450 providers, and 1 mission: to heal. As one, we are Thomas Health, caring for our communities today and tomorrow.
An injury at any age can be a game changer, but with walk-in clinics Monday through Saturday, the Marshall Sports Medicine Institute is ready to get you off the bench and back in the game. Marshall Sports Medicine Institute takes care of the herd. Let us take care of you.
Little General Stores has served our hometowns for decades, providing those essential needs for the road of life. Rest assured, you'll leave knowing they have your needs covered. And by the way, tell them Hug sent you.
Teams ready to hit the field here and get this one going. Huntington leads the series 12-11. South Charleston winning a year ago by a final of 42-21. Huntington has 2 4-game winning streaks in this series. They have met in the playoffs. So it's going to be Chase Edwards kicking it off here. And a little pooch kick, and it will be the Highlanders gathering it in, and that is Amari Felder Felder, one of many weapons this Huntington High attack will feature here tonight, Jim.
They got a great short kick there up, and they're already starting on the 47, which is just about 3 yards shy of being right on the other side of the territory. So what a great start for the Highlanders. They fielded it clean. He got some decent blocking, and they don't have any trouble running their nose right up in there. So one of the keys, I think, is going to be how this offensive line stacks up against those front four for the Black Eagles.
Getting our first chance to see Gavin Locko here tonight. The junior weighs about 200 pounds, and flags fly before we can get this first play underway. Locko on the season has rushed for 613 yards. He's thrown for 1,123, 13 TD passes, and he has 8 rushing touchdowns. And boy, Jim, you hate to see that. You're a defensive coach, and already you're giving them a gift with 5 additional yards.
You preach and preach to watch that ball and don't listen to that count. And, you know, these kids are eager and anxious to get out there.
That takes the ball to the 47, and they'll flip it out on the far side, and the catch will be made by Nakin Harrell. Harrell, the 5'10", 160-pound senior, and so many different weapons on this team. Harrell is the second leading receiver with 14 receptions, 173 yards, and a couple of receiving touchdowns. Before move any more along in this game, kudos to both head coaches for their help in our preparation for our live streaming telecast here tonight on Video Productions, and Jimmy Morgan, one of the best around for Huntington High. And here is Locko, and I believe that South Charleston may have jumped again.
Yeah, I think it's just probably a little bit of jitters early for the Black Eagles, but they just need to settle down a little bit, and they don't need to be giving Huntington any more than they already are as a team that averages almost 37 points a game. So they can light that scoreboard up.
Yeah, 119 points in the past 2 games. They've scored 30 or more 5 times this season. Ball resting at the 39. Locko will turn and hand it off, and powering straight ahead for the Highlanders. That was Jackson Hatfield. Or check that was Curtis Jones. Jones, number 6, north-south runner, very punishing, 6'2", 210, just a sophomore. Gain of 3 will be 2nd down and 7. And now a flag coming out again.
It's probably a defensive coach's nightmare when they've already told these kids, and I know they're anxious, but they probably should have settled down at this point. I would say that the defensive coaches will be doing a little bit of extra conditioning as the next week comes into play.
3 5-yard penalties here in this opening drive by the Highlanders. Rob Wheeler, who we mentioned, he is our lead official tonight. The referee, former Parkersburg Big Red, been in the officiating game a long time. He was an outstanding player for Buddy James there at Parkersburg. Locko awaits, fakes the handoff, and fires, and the catch is made. And that's Noah Wainick. Billy Seals calls him, Jim, our Mr. Everything.
Yeah, Wayne, yeah, he's definitely high on the charts. He's their leading receiver. I mean, he just picked up 14 right there. So
take the football to the 19. Fresh set of downs for the Highlanders. Felder wheels around in motion, and here is Jones straight ahead. Slams his way to the 11-yard line.
That was a nice seal on the front from the front 5 to kind of spurn Jones through there. And boy, did he explode through that line.
An official timeout gives us a chance to talk about coaching staff for Huntington High. Ray Brooks, defensive line coach, Cody Carter, and Kool-Aid Owens, 2 outstanding players from Marshall. Marshall working the secondary. C.J. Crawford also played for the Herd and at Charlotte. He's the offensive coordinator. Zach Freeman, Billy Ross, the offensive line. Ronnie Smith, the running backs. And the kicking coach is Bob Watson. This time, South Charleston applies some pressure, and they take down the ball carrier.
Hey, look on that play marker. There's a lot of stack in the middle, and Jones, it really wasn't any fault of his. Even for the line, that part, they had 4 guys on 2 sides of the ball. So when you only have 3 guys blocking, it looks like it's going to be success for South Charleston.
3rd down and 3. Football resting at the 13-yard line for Gavin Locko. And number 2, Huntington High. Locko under center. Felder in motion, and here is the handoff. And again, the Black Eagles going to clog up the middle there as Tyree Smith tried to maneuver. They will place it at the 10, so it was a gain of 3. But a good job here by South Charleston trying to clamp down. Now spot it maybe around the 11, and it's going to be 4th down and 1.
And this is the 9th play of the drive, aided, of course, by 3 offsides from South Charleston.
They have Felder on a wing. He goes in motion. They turn, they hand it off, and here's Jones just driving those strong legs, and he will take it to the 5-yard line. And that is a big 1st down for Huntington High.
It shows Coach Seals has a great deal of confidence in the right side of that line if he's going to go for it on 4th and a yard. And I know that South Charleston kind of stuffed them a couple of plays, so they were stacking things in the middle, but there's just too much power with that leg drive and those offensive linemen for the Highlanders.
Locko will go under center, and that is Maxwell Wentz, outstanding player. And here's the option play, and Felder will score into the end zone. 5-yard touchdown run for Amari Felder, this 5'10", 180-pound junior. His 10th touchdown of the season, and Huntington on the board.
That quick pitch was all set up for by that fake dive in the middle. Everybody thought they was going to do some power football again.
And Johnny Ii, what a kicker he has been this season for Huntington High. He is 8th in scoring in the Mountain State Athletic Conference. Breaking the action, 7:24 to go here in the first quarter, and Huntington High strikes, and they lead at 7-0 SC with the ball when we return.
For Kindred Communications, this is home. When other broadcasting companies went nationwide, we stayed home.
This is home.
This is home.
This is home.
6 radio stations broadcasting on 9 signals across 3 states. For Kindred Communications,
this
is
home.
In the history of Dutch Miller Jeep, there has never been a better time to trade in your car. Because of major supply chain disruptions, your vehicle is worth more than it ever has been. Even if you're not looking to trade in your car, we're interested in buying your vehicle at up to 30% above fair market value. We have customers trading in their vehicles that are getting more now than they paid for it. Learn more and text or chat now at DutchMillerJeep.com.
Come in today for the Make This the Summer event and get friends and family pricing for everyone.
II puts his foot into it, and South Charleston with Mondrell Dean on the return. And Dean, boy, what a big stiff arm there on Scout Arthur of Huntington. So not a bad return by Mondrell Dean. And Dean's a guy, Jim, that they're going to have to rely on a lot here in this game with some of their vital cogs out.
Yeah, they're going to need to have some explosive plays because you know that Huntington's going to take and do ball control. Billy Seals is going to do ball control tonight. He'll mix it. He will do predominantly run, but he will mix up the pass when he needs to. So they're going to really need to work on some explosive plays, some big plays from South Charleston.
All right, first chance to see Trey Dunn here tonight. Mondrell Dean finding daylight, and Dean still on his feet and takes it to the 45-yard line. 25-yard pickup by Mondrell Dean, and a first down for the Black Eagles.
Well, that was a nice start. Montrell Dean really followed his block well, especially kicking it to the outside. And you notice there toward the end of that play, he has right there, you're going to watch him, he is not afraid of the contact. He's got 3 guys right around him. He's just going to lower the shoulder and keep going.
Big strike. Football at the 45-yard line. Trey Dunn's father, Dallas, was an outstanding player at Polka High School. Trey Dunn will turn and hand it off, and Dunn gives to Dean, and Dean surging ahead and takes it to the 36-yard line, gain of 9 on the play. So how about that to get it started here for South Charleston, coming right back and attacking the Highlander defense.
Yeah, I think South Charleston's trying to give the Highlanders a little bit of their own medicine with ball control on the line, but you've got this talented in Montrell Dean. He understands where the holes are, and he knows how to follow blocks. So they are going to lean on him a lot tonight.
They'll call it a pickup of 8, 2nd and 2. And here is Trey Dunn, who is an exceptional runner and shows it right there as he gets the first down, dashing his way to the 28-yard line. First down for South Charleston.
Yeah, they're doing it all on the ground, but you see the explosiveness of Dunn, followed, with the fake on Dean where they're keying on him. Those backers are keying on him, and they're not looking at where the ball is. So good setup for the Black Eagles.
Dunn coming in over 1,600 yards passing this season, 18 touchdown passes. Jordan Chevalier is the offensive coordinator for South Charleston. Donnie Mays, outstanding head coach for South Charleston, also has Colin Beckner, Larry Stricker, Kevin Brewer, Daryl Stotts, Lamar Martin. And here is a pass and a catch made, and SC on the move once again. And who else but Dean? I think we're going to have a penalty.
Yeah. You hate to see that. It was such a good run by Montrell Dean, but we had some illegal motion. Watch this on this side. You see the motion comes from the wide out in the slot. He just started a little bit too soon. And cost them really some yardage because they were down inside the 20. Now they have this motion penalty. So they're going to go back to the line of scrimmage, tack on 5 from there, so it's 1st and 15. We're from the 34-yard line instead of 1st and 10 from the 18-yard line. That's a big difference, Mark. It really gives Coach Mays an opportunity. He's going to have to come up with a different play calling scheme on this series.
Trey Dunn looks over and awaits the snap from Devin Pugh. Dunn rolling out, rifles it down the field and got a man. The catch is made at the 4-yard line, and that will be Chris McCorkle with the catch. McCorkle's 20th grab of the season.
Yeah, Huntington had a nice grab with 14 yards on a nice slant, and South Charleston said we can do one better with that with McCorkle as he snags one in from 30 and tiptoes right along the sideline. It's a nice throw by Dunn.
Dunn awaits the snap. Dunn taking off, and Dunn will be held up just a bit there.
Those are the tough yards to get inside that 5-yard line, Mark. He ended up getting, let's give him a yard for that effort. But we're still just 3 yards out from potentially tying this game up.
2nd down and 2. Trey Dunn awaits the snap, hands it to Mondrell Dean, and Dean's into the end zone for the touchdown. So a possession for the Highlanders and a possession for the Black Eagles.
That's a really nice job of that front 5 for the Black Eagles to open up those holes for Dean. You'll see right there a pancake block. You're looking at number 51, which is Nigel Amberg. He's one of the captains. He shows by leadership. Pancake block there. opens the way for Dean to get in from 3 yards out, and we're 1 extra point away from having a brand new game.
Well, now they try to get another member on the kicking team. Edwards. The snap and the kick is up, and the kick is good. We are even here in South Charleston in this battle of top 8 Class AAA teams in the great state of West Virginia. 6-play, 70-yard drive. South Charleston and Huntington even at 7. Back in a moment on Video Productions.
With all that's going on, Mullen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling wants to remind our neighbors we're here for you. We're taking extra precautions to protect you and our employees. Right now, we're offering 6-month no-interest financing to help you stay comfortable throughout this crisis. Our superior indoor air filtration options will keep viruses, bacteria, and allergens down, increasing indoor air quality, comfort, and safety. Call us today and see how we can help you. Mullen, we're comfortable when you are.
No one leaves their home thinking they will be in a car crash. Unfortunately, in West Virginia, more than 1/3 of people killed in car crashes are not wearing their seatbelts. Those who choose to wear their seatbelts stand a good chance to live another day. Law enforcement wants you to have a fighting chance. That's why we are busy making sure everyone is buckled up.
We would rather you arrive safe at all your destinations rather than it be your final destination.
Buckle up, click it, or ticket.
Martin Harrell.
Naquin Harrell will haul in the kick from Edwards, and Harrell's got some room to the far side of the field, turning on the Jets and finally out of bounds. But after, and then a flag comes out over on the far side of the field. We'll see what that's all about. But a nice return to the 41-yard line by Naquin Harrell for Huntington High after South Charleston came down and evened the score.
And there may have been a little bit of extracurricular activity after Martin had stepped out of bounds. We'll see what the call is.
No, actually, it's going to go against Huntington High. So, actually, well, you know, sometimes you never know on that far side of the field, but obviously it goes against the Highlanders. So, break there for SC after the nice return by Huntington. But how about these two teams, Jim, opening possessions for both, and they find the end zone, get the extra point, and we got a 7-7 game.
Now, what we like about this is it just isn't one-dimensional. Both sides have used the running game and they've used the passing game to get down the field. So with that balance, that keeps some of those linebackers in check. So this could come down to whoever can hang on to that ball and whoever has the last possession.
Well, not what they did have, but still good field position right at midfield for Huntington High. They go back to work here now for the second time in this game. Locko with Felder swinging around, and Felder will stop right behind Locko, and he'll go down at the 49-yard line. Good job there by the South Charleston defense. Jason Barnett, the nose guard, makes the stop, and he is joined on that defensive front by his twin brother, Jaden Barnett. Jason wears 34, Jaden 58. So give Felder a gain of 1. Felder on the season coming in 44 carries, 397 yards.
Jason Barnett comes out, looks like he got a little bit of a stinger. Should be back in there pretty soon.
Waynock in motion, and here's where Locko can really hurt a football team and zooms his way to around the 34-yard line. Tackle was made by Hunter Withrow for South Charleston. How about Locko? Now Locko does get up just a bit slow, but boy, when you have those dual threat quarterbacks, Jim, right there is what they can do for you.
He got a great entourage leading him, but he was going through there with reckless abandon. He got a little bit of a tweak in the ankle, but he'll work that out as the game goes on and the adrenaline keeps pumping. That's a 17-yard run by Locko. So when you have a guy that can throw the ball, you have a guy that can run the ball, that creates nightmares for the defense.
First down play, and Huntington right back in business. Harrell goes wide to the top of your screen. Waynick in the slot, and whistles sound once again. Zaza Jackson, number 8, is in the game. He's going to come out now, and Felder will go in. And Once more, 5 yards will be marched off against the Black Eagles.
It's a little early, but that is the 4th encroachment penalty on the Black Eagles, and they really need to start watching that ball. And I know those coaches harp that every single week.
Locko with Felder behind him. Felder takes the handoff, swinging it to the near side, and Felder bumped out of bounds at around the 24-yard line.
I think we can give him 7 on that one safely, Mark. Maybe 7.5 towards 8. But it's a nice back motion. If you see Felder, he was running like it was the old Canadian Football League.
Right.
When they go backwards and then they come forward. So
little orbit motion almost.
That, and he gained a little speed as he gets out on that edge. And the benefit of that is a first down for the Highlanders.
He was knocked out of bounds by Jaden Eastep, and he's a player that South Charleston's happy to have back. He's missed some games this season. Locko, just the direct snap, and looks for yardage, makes the cut, and Locko goes inside the 15-yard line. There is a marker back at the 23.
Yeah, I think we're going to have a holding. Yeah, that's a big penalty. That erases a 9-yard net gain by Locko, and now we're going to go in an opposite direction for the Highlanders. But a good thing we saw Barnett coming back in. I'm glad that he's made it back in. Jason Barnett, that tough nose guard for South Charleston. A little bit of a stinger. I think he's back in the game, so it'll shore up that front 4 for the Black Eagles.
With the football at the 34, Billy Seals, head coach of Huntington High, now in his 13th year. He's the 4th head coach in school history. The great late Bob Sang started the program when they consolidated Huntington East and Old Huntington High. Richard Williams followed Zach Wilson for a couple of years, and a penalty going to go against the Black Eagles. Billy Seals coming in with a record of 95-50, 11-8 in the playoffs. 2 undefeated teams trying to get a third. Had 2 teams in the semis in his years. And, of course, the one championship game played at Liberty University out of Morristown, Tennessee for Sam Ratigliano there as a member of the Flames. And, well, that's a program that's really grown. Yeah, and Sam Ratigliano once the head coach of the Browns. Now we had the penalty against Huntington. Now a penalty against South Charleston. Fake it to Jones. Locko in trouble, and they got rid of it just as he was going out of bounds. Well, he had about 4 bodies around him, and he went ahead and heaved it down the field.
He did a nice job of finding his awareness to that sideline to dump that ball instead of take a loss on the play. It was a very nice job by Locko. That's the first incompletion of the night for Locko, but he seemed to be covered up. Hats off to that secondary for the Black Eagles, and that's a young secondary, Mark. They've got a lot of guys in that secondary that are underclassmen, a couple of freshmen back there.
Yeah, Harris is a sophomore, and Harris almost like a veteran, you know.
He's been around a long time. So.
Second down, 17. Locko will hand it to Jones. Jones navigates for yardage to the 25-yard line.
That's some tough real estate trying to get that up the middle. You know, that's probably we're in that 4-down territory for Highlanders.
Senior J. Ernest Keys in there at the defensive end position for South Charleston. He makes the stop as a high motor, according to head coach Donnie Mays. Donnie, a graduate of Herbert Hoover High School, West Virginia State, and native of the Valley. Locko rifles, got a man, and they fight for it, and the ball will fall incomplete. Great effort by not only the offensive player, Harrell, but also good coverage there on the defensive side. Estep was there, and McCorkle in on the coverage. And, well, one thing about high school football, sometimes you have a good kicker. You were a great kicker, Jim Mahan, and I is an outstanding kicker. They're going to place that football down at the 33-yard line. So this is a 43-yard attempt for who has 4 field goals on the season. And the kick is delivered, and that is a 43-yard field goal. Highlanders go back on top thanks to I's great kick through the uprights. 10-7 here on Video Productions back at South Charleston in just a moment.
Injury at any age can be a game changer, but Marshall Orthopedics, the area's only comprehensive sports medicine practice, is ready to get you off the bench and back in the game. Marshall Orthopedics takes care of the herd. Let us take care of you.
Did you know when you send or receive a text message, you take your eyes off the road for 5 seconds? At 55 miles per hour, that's like driving more than the length of a football field blindfolded. As a result, thousands of people die every year in crashes related to distracted driving. That's why we're cracking down on people who text or use their smartphones while driving. We would rather you cross the goal line alive. Law enforcement officers write tickets to save lives. Don't text and drive.
Little General Stores has served our hometowns for decades. That's why they offer the LG Rewards Card, a way to earn points for free drinks and even discounts on fuel. And by the way, tell them Hug sent you.
Kicker.
I, who just drilled a 43-yard field goal, will now knock this kickoff back to the 8-yard line. And here is Harris. Haven't heard much from Harris tonight until now, and he takes it from about the 8-yard line up to the 32-yard line, so 24-yard return on the kick. And South Charleston now goes back to work offensively here as Huntington regains the lead at 10-7.
It was a nice cutback by Harris to get an extra 8 or 9 yards. It's the ball sitting on the 31-yard line, so they're 1 yard improved from their initial drive to start the game. Let's see if the Black Eagles can answer.
Trey Dunn ready to go to work. Mondrell Dean negotiating through the middle of that line, and Dean will take it from the 31 up to the 36-yard line. So a nice pickup of 5 on the play by Mondrell Dean.
Well, one way to shorten the game is you use ball control, and that's what both teams have done today. And hats off to both of those lines for really controlling and sealing those blocks.
Xavier Bosley, the left tackle. James Butts, the left guard. Devin Pugh is the center. Nigel Ambergy, the right guard. And Landon Bird is the right tackle. 2 wide to both sides. Dean in the backfield behind Dunn. And a deep handoff to Dean. And Dean will go down. Good tackling there. Nice piece of tackling by one of Huntington's outstanding linebackers, David Bradshaw.
Yeah, we got some laundry on the field, Mark. It was a holding penalty against the Black Eagles.
Well, Donnie Mays, his team, they battled here in this first quarter, but he can't be happy with the penalties.
No, they've already racked up. This is now their 7th penalty in the first quarter. That is not something Coach Mays will be the least bit pleased with. I don't know if they're just debating on where the initial spot of the hold was to where they're going to mark off the yardage. They're actually going to decline it.
In South Charleston, they're got their guys lined up ready to go. And to the 34-yard line.
I find that a very, very interesting call.
And that will do it. End of the first quarter. It is a 10-7 lead for the Black Eagles of the Huntington Highlanders over the Black Eagles of South Charleston here on the beautiful campus of South Charleston High School. We return with second quarter action in a moment. Video Productions bringing you great coverage of the Mountain State Athletic Conference here on a beautiful Friday night.
History of Dutch Miller Subaru, there has never been a better time to trade in your car. Because of major supply chain disruptions, your vehicle is worth more than it ever has been. Even if you're not looking to trade in your car, we're interested in buying your vehicle at up to 30% above fair market value. We have customers trading in their vehicles that are getting more now than they paid for it. Learn more and text or chat now at DutchMillerSubaru.com.
Ask about 0% financing on select models and get friends and family pricing for everyone.
Did you know when you send or receive a text message, you take your eyes off the road for 5 seconds? At 55 miles an hour, that's like driving more than the length of a football field, blindfolded. As a result, thousands of people die every year in crashes related to distracted driving. That's why we're cracking down on people who text or use their smartphones while driving. We would rather you cross the goal line alive. Law enforcement officers write tickets to save lives. Don't text and drive.
A nice first quarter between South Charleston and Huntington, and SC on the first play of this second quarter, and a nice grab made by Chris McCorkle, and that's first down yardage for SC.
It's a nice 18-yard pickup. That's 2 receptions for McCorkle for 48 yards already, and an excellent throw by Dunn. Under pressure, staying in the pocket, deliver the ball right on target.
And Dunn, just a kid that loves football and works at it non-stop. And now Mondrell Dean trying to sweep to the near side, and they're going to get him down right around the line of scrimmage as he was sandwiched there by Bradshaw and Noah Wainick on the tackle. And actually it looks like they're going to lose a yard, Jim.
Yeah, he lost a little bit. I think they just let that play develop a little bit slower than they wanted to. It took them a little bit of time to get out on the edge, which gave a time for those linebackers to fill in those gaps, and they ended up losing a yard on it. Dunn did.
First full season on this beautiful turf at South Charleston High School. Dunn back to pass. Has protection and now some pressure. And Dunn, who can run, and he will gallop to the 35-yard line. Make that the 45-yard line, forgive me. And Dunn ran track last spring, really wanted to work on that speed, and he takes it to the 45-yard line, and that's where the Black Eagles will have it here on third down in Huntington territory.
What that does with Dunn is it makes the third down manageable. He got 9 yards on that just scrambling.
Well, we've witnessed South Charleston jumping off sides on the defensive side, and now Huntington High guilty as Markel Jones, number 12, also listed as Brian, but goes by Markel, just a sophomore. He's a backup quarterback, so that gives South Charleston a first down. Football now at the 40. Dunn will keep, and not much there. Read nicely by Donovan Garrett, the defensive end, number 2, 6'2", 220, a junior. We were talking about that coaching staff for South Charleston. Again, Jordan Chevalier, Colin Beckner, Larry Stricker, Kevin Brewer, Darrell Stotts, Lamar Martin, one of the all-time greats at Oak Hill High School. Had a chance to cover him during my Oak Hill days. What a guy. Jesse Silvestro. His brother is a pro soccer player, and also John Booker, Scott Canada. Outstanding staff for an outstanding head coach. And Dunn heaves it. Boy, Dunn stepped up in all kinds of traffic, Jim, and released that football into the hands of Jamari Tubbs.
And Tubbs did a nice job coming back to the ball, but you said it first, Mark. What a wonderful job that Dunn did stepping up through that. And as a pocket was collapsing on him, he's still able to find Tubbs for a nice 4-yard out pattern.
Third down and 6 now for the Black Eagles. They have a good kicker, too. They get a little bit more range for Edwards, perhaps, but they'd like to take the lead here with the touchdown. Pressure coming. Dunn releases, and a great leaping grab made by Wayne Harris at the 29-yard line for the first down. Wow. What a grab.
What a wonderful catch.
And again, I mean, Donovan Garrett was coming at Dunn. There's another look at it, Jim.
It's just a great vertical by Harris. He just goes up and gets it. That's a wonderful catch and throw.
Fresh set of downs. Wayne Harris, his 36th reception of the season. Handoff, Dean, and Dean bangs his way to the 19-yard line. Gain of 5 on the play. Tackle made by Josh Pauley, one of the defensive guys up front for that Huntington defense. Donovan Garrett, James Scott, Josh Pauley, Markel Jones up front, Scout Arthur, Tyree Smith, David Bradshaw. some good linebackers, but we do have a flag down. Zaza Jackson, Khalif Ty are the corners. Noah Wainick and Amari Felder, the safeties.
The initial signal, Mark, was a chop block on one of the up linemen on that run, so that negates a nice hard run by Dean.
And then we'll take them back. Well, they had the football at the 24, Jim, and then suddenly there you are at the 39.
Yeah, they got to really work on those penalties right now. They've amassed quite a few.
Jordan Chevalier, offensive coordinator, signaling in the play. His father, Todd, once the head coach here at South Charleston, now the athletic director at Riverside, also a head coach at Sissonville. And Dean weaving his way to the 24-yard line, so he just about gets back the 15 that they lost on the penalty. Wow, what a piece of running.
Did a really nice job of finding the opening spaces. And when you find good backs like Dean is, what you're going to see on this replay is, first of all, good blocking. Second, instead of him just bouncing inside that nice lateral move, then he jab steps to get back inside and gets back pretty much all the real estate that they lost on the penalty.
All right, second down now for South Charleston, about 10 to go. Snap to Dunn, and he will take it for maybe about a 1-yard gain, and that will be it. And Garrett makes the stop for the Highlanders.
Yeah, it was a good job by Huntington to seal that off and make him make the choice of cutting it back inside. He could have strung it out. They haven't found a lot of success on the edges around the outside because Huntington is really doing a good job of keeping them contained, especially Dunn and Dean.
Third down and 9. Too wide to both sides for South Charleston. Trey Dunn gets the snap. Fires it out and just positioning himself nicely. Found the spot, and Harris gathers it in right inside the 10-yard line, and another first down. Boy, you can tell those guys have worked together.
Those guys know where each other are. You're going to see a really nice ball thrown by Dunn. He's right there in that seam. Harris comes back. You'll notice he comes back to get that. 14-yard reception. Excellent job by Harris.
First and goal to go now for Trey Dunn and South Charleston trying to take the lead here against Huntington and Dean and Bradshaw. Boy, two battlers there, and Dean bangs into Bradshaw.
That's mano-mano, Mark. That's just one-on-one, good, tough-nosed football. He got him about 2.5 to 3 yards of tough real estate down inside that red zone.
Yeah, Dean's got about 30 pounds on him. He's 6'4", 230, a junior. A lot of Division I looks before it's all said and done. A lot of players in both programs playing college football. Trey Dunn. Ball is loose, and boy, a nice job there by South Charleston. That could have been disastrous, and how about Dean coming up? And I think they actually gained a little bit there maybe?
Yeah, they lost about a half a yard, but I'm sure they would rather lose a half a yard and keep the ball because they're still within that scoring range. And, again, they're only down by 3. So they probably wish they would have had the yardage from this play, but they still have another crack at that end zone.
Dunn lost the handle, but Dean was there. Third down, 9. And now it looks like Huntington has jumped again. Well, throughout the week, when these coaches have been working with their kids, obviously they were trying to anticipate snap counts, but it has bitten both teams here tonight, and that takes it to the 5.
A lot of times teams are trying, like you said, Mark, they're trying to get on that jump count and get an advantage on the offensive line who already knows the count, but in this case it cost them 5 yards.
Dean will lead the backfield in motion. Straight to Dunn it goes, and Dunn fighting his way down to the 1-yard line.
Now, the good news on that, Mark, is he didn't get in the end zone, but the better news for the Black Eagles, I believe it's a first down. It's very close.
All right, it is a first down. Making sure there. So fresh set of downs, and Dean will fire his way. Now the Black Eagles are signaling a touchdown. Have not seen the officials. And no touchdown.
I think there was a little bit of premature celebration on the Black Eagles side. He dove, and what appeared like he broke the plane. However, I think he was stopped just shy of the plane.
I learned a long time ago in broadcasting, don't look at the players, look at the officials. And I held true to that because obviously every South Charleston player had them in the end zone. And now it is a Black Eagle touchdown as Dunn fights his way in for the score and a South Charleston lead.
And that was a hard-fought 69-yard drive that involved him going forward and backwards. Here you're going to see Dunn just drive ahead with that offensive line, and he uses his good athletic ability to spin around there and get that ball across the plane.
All right, Edwards looking to make it a 4-point edge. Ryan Flowers is the holder. Aaron Spurlock, the snapper. Good snap, good hold. Kick is good. South Charleston 14, Huntington 10 from South Charleston High School. Back in a moment on Video Productions.
We know who we are, where we've been, where we're going. Like hospitals all over America, we are changing, redefining, restructuring ourselves to be the best community health system in the region we serve. We are 2 hospitals with more than 30 locations, 450 providers, and 1 mission: to heal. As one, we are Thomas Health, caring for our communities today and tomorrow.
An injury at any age can be a game changer, but with walk-in clinics Monday through Saturday, the Marshall Sports Medicine Institute is ready to get you off the bench and back in the game. Marshall Sports Medicine Institute takes care of the herd. Let us take care of you.
Little General Stores has served our hometowns for decades, providing those essential needs for the road of life. Rest assured, you'll leave knowing they have your needs covered. And by the way, tell them Hug sent you.
Him and Affleck.
Welcome back here to South Charleston High School, 14-10. How about that drive, Jim, by South Charleston?
Oh, wonderful. They had a couple of setbacks with penalties, but 69 yards, 14 plays, capped off with a 1-yard plunge by Dunn with some of his athletic ability. But we come back and some of the things that look overlooked. You've got Dean with his power running, but Dunn has that rifle arm. They call him the gun for obvious reasons. He was 5 for 5 so far in this game.
Felder hauls it in from the 29-yard line and moves his way to the 42-yard line. 13-yard return on the kick, so pretty good field position again for Billy Seals and his Huntington Highlanders. And Jim, they haven't dealt with deficits much this season. Started the campaign with a 47-7 win over Parkersburg, defeated Hurricane 38-0, had the Battle of the Shield with Cabell Midland 21-17, down to good George Washington team 30-14. Capital was giving them all they wanted in the first half before Huntington pulled away to win it 30-7. Then they had the tussle with Spring Valley and win that one 9-6, and then Woodrow Wilson 63-0 as Locko gallops for big first down yardage. And then last week they win it over St. Albans 56-7. So Locko saying, okay, we're down. We don't plan on being down for long. And boy, what a big dash there by the talented junior quarterback for the Highlanders.
Yeah, Locko just took it, ran around the left edge, picked up a big chunk of real estate there, 26 yards, a first down. They're already in South Charleston territory to 39, knocking on the door. I think their offense decided to wake up a little bit. They got stalled the last time. They got a wonderful kick by Ai from 42 yards out, but I think they're not going to want to settle for a field goal this time down.
Locko awaits the snap, fakes it, and he will dump it off here to Felder, and Felder makes a nice move inside the 30 down to the 26-yard line. Laco gets very creative right there.
Pass is complete to 7.
Well, that went from the 38 to the 26-yard lines where they're going to mark it down. How about Laco there?
Well, nice creativity on Laco's part. I'm surprised that they got away with it because it looked like a block there on the edge because they were thinking Laco was going to run. Then at the last second, he dumps it off.
We're getting a chance here to see two of the best, not only in the MSAC, but in the entire state in Laco and Dunn. Fresh set of downs for the Highlanders. Laco gets the snap, will hand it to Felder, and Felder fighting his way and not much doing there. Good stop made by South Charleston. I think it was Jaden Barnett on the tackle.
Felder picking up one on that. Again, tough yardage inside. That South Charleston trying to make a statement that you're not going to run from our tackle to tackle. You're not going to get your yardage. You're going to do it. You're going to do it on the edge. Or you're going to do it in the air. But you're not coming right up through the gut.
We discussed college players from both these programs. Of course, Zyke Lawton was a great player for South Charleston. He's down that great program at Cincinnati. And Darnell Wright from Huntington playing for the Volunteers of Tennessee. Laco back to pass, drifting, in trouble, and down he goes. Good job by the South Charleston defense. And, well, we were talking about Zyke Lawton, and how about his younger brother Amari in there on the play.
Did a nice job. You'll see on this sack, it's a 7-yard loss that Laco takes. But what a lot of people can really learn from this is you saw that that Martin settled and didn't go straight forward for Laco because he's got all that foot speed and that quickness. He could have easily darted around him, but he settles and lets Laco make the move, and then he secures the tackle.
Devin Brewer in on that stop as well. So it's 3rd down, 16. Football back at the 32. Here's Laco in trouble and got rid of it. Jones had it, but just really never had a chance to really gather it in. So a big stop there for South Charleston. Now let's see here what Billy Seals and company, Laco staying out there.
Well, we know II is a great kicker, Mark, but this would be a 50-yarder, and I don't think they're going to put him in that situation right here. You're going to see all that pressure coming up through the middle with Martin, and, we see that Jones really didn't have a chance to see that ball.
All right, from the 32-yard line, Billy Seals and his crew going to take a stab at it here.
Coach Seals wants to call a little timeout and talk this over.
1:35 to go here in the first half. What an entertaining half of football between the Black Eagles and Huntington High.
Now that is our first timeout of the half for either team. We know that Huntington hasn't really had to march the full length of the field. Their first drive started on the 47. Their second drive started at midfield. This one started on the 42, but they're up against the wall here on a 4th down, Mark, and what appears to be about 17. And this is a little tougher to get when you get closer to that red zone. It's a lot tougher to get. So you have to think that they're going to do some type of pass pattern deep enough to where if they don't get it, they can pin South Charleston down there in their territory and maybe get the ball back right before half.
Talk about that staff of Billy Seals, and just, he's got a great staff. Talked about a lot of the guys. Another one on that staff, Willie Wilson. He was a great player there at old Huntington High, Huntington East, and then has been at Huntington High coaching. Laco goes to work, heaves it down the field, and that will be picked off in the end zone. Wayne Harris with the interception. Well, they took a stab at it into the end zone, and now the key will be for Huntington with South Charleston playing some spirited football, Jim, to keep the Black Eagles from adding to this lead that right now stands at 4.
Yeah, you're going to see that Dunn just takes a shot in the end zone. There's 2 guys deep, so they're both covering it. Either one of them could have came up with it, course, that time I believe it was Dean that came up with the interception. And, you know, Marks, I know young players, sometimes they get really excited. They want that ball, but what South Charleston doesn't realize, they cost themselves about 13 yards in real estate if they're wanting to try to move, because that was a touchback. The ball was sitting on the 32-yard line.
So Locko fires the interception, and Dunn goes to work, and he'll give to Dean. And Dean fights his way for some good yardage up to about the 28-yard line. Stopped there by Josh Pauley, and we got a motion penalty against the Black Eagles.
Unfortunately, negates a nice run by Dean, who I'll tell you the thing that I'm most impressed about Dean is two things. One, he runs with power, but he also runs with incredible balance for a bigger man. He's got really good footwork. He can run laterally. As you saw his shifting lateral moves on the last series. So, unfortunately here for that 8-yard gain, it's just been negated by a motion penalty for the Black Eagles. So, they'll start their drive on the 15-yard line now.
He came into the game, Jim, 53 carries, 417 yards, so that's a 6.1 average, 6 touchdowns, and also really good out of the backfield catching the football, 13 grabs, 300 yards, 23.1 average, and a couple of touchdowns. So back to work. We'll go Dunn here with clock ticking, just a few seconds, over a minute to play here in this first half.
I think they definitely don't want Huntington to have that ball.
Hand it off to Dean, and Dean will secure it and spin his way through some heavy traffic there. Be stopped there by Markel Jones. Well, we talked about the PA announcer here calling him the workhorse, and he is, especially when you consider they're without Emilio Miller and Elvecchio Dias, two outstanding backs. They all bring a lot to the table, and Dean getting the call tonight. All right, here's Dunn looking to throw, and now Dunn will fire it, and it's caught. Coming back to the football. Harris has come alive here.
And Dunn again finds number 6, Rain Harris.
17-yard reception by Harris. As he comes back to the ball, I think what people overlooked on this was Dunn's ability to scramble to the left, roll back to the right, and throw what really looks like it's a sidearm throw, Mark.
Yeah.
It really wasn't an over-top traditional quarterback throw, a sidearm throw. But here's a guy in Dunn that knows his receivers. He knows where they are. They come back to her. You're going to see a nice job here by Dunn, scrambling over to his left. See that sidearm motion right back there? There's Harris, comes back to the ball. That is very difficult to defend, and you'll see the result of that is 17-yard reception.
14-10 game. Resetting it for you, Huntington taking the opening kickoff and scoring on a 5-yard run by Amari Felder. 7:03 mark of the first quarter. South Charleston marched right down the field. You get a little chance there to see 13th-year head coach Billy Seals, and Mondrell Dean capped off the drive, 2 yards, and in the first quarter, 4:26. Huntington comes back, and Johnny Ii with a 43-yard field goal with just 50 ticks remaining in the first. Made it a 10-7 game at the end of the first quarter, and then Dunn with a short touchdown run with 4:38 to go here in the second, and now South Charleston trying to see what they can do here before the half, and a great grab is made there. What a snag by Jaden Estep. And Trey Dunn's top target, missed the first 3 games of the season. What a nice grab by Estep. Boy, again, we talked about how happy they were to get him back here. And another look here, Jim, at that tremendous passing catch.
By Dunn. It's just good velocity on that Estep. Doing a nice job of stepping out of bounds with 16 seconds if they want to take a crack at it. I noticed, that Dunn's just basically perfect from the air, 7 for 7 so far this half.
Dunn guns it out, and the catch is made on the far side of the field. Terrific grab again.
Tubbs.
Yep, Tubbs making that grab. Jamari Tubbs, great athlete. And, one of those guys, he's a freshman, Jim, as Donnie May said, learning how to play the game. Good basketball player. Plays for Josh Daniel here at South Charleston High School. Former player of the year in West Virginia. And Father Dave, great Sherman player. And also the player of the year. So here we go, 1st and 10. Football is at the 36. Dunn rifles it out, and that one will fall incomplete. First incomplete pass for Dunn.
Yeah, it's the first one. It's a tough one. He's getting some pressure up the middle, but one of the things that they had is their luxury. They had 8.2 seconds in the half. They could have found something up the middle instead of the edges. They haven't used any timeouts, so they could have called a quick timeout and perhaps kicked an extra field goal to put them up by a touchdown. But they've got 3.2 seconds, so they've got enough time for one more play. Let's see what Coach Mays has up his sleeve.
Well, you got a lot of guys there that, are options with Dean. Again, we talked about him out of the backfield. E-step. Again, he's back in the groove now. Wayne Harris and Chris McCorkle, and haven't even really talked about a sophomore Tylee Tinsley who has shown flashes of being an excellent player this season, Jamari Tubbs. So Trey Dunn has options, no doubt about it. And, well, how much fun has it been to watch these two quarterbacks here tonight? And I don't want to look ahead to next season, but these guys are back.
Oh, that's something to look forward to for sure. You want to make sure these kids are healthy because they're special players. And I think both coaches alluded to that earlier this week about how these two kids make their offense and their team go.
And Donnie Mays, the head coach of the Black Eagles, and his offensive coordinator, Jordan Chevalier, they've chatted it up with Trey Dunn and company, and what will likely be our final play here of this half.
You got a prevent defense, of course, from the Highlanders, but you got 4 wide to the left, 1 wide at the top of the screen. Let's see what Dunn does with it.
Dunn will heave it up, and that is picked off. And they'll get him on the ground, but an interception by Khalif Ty at 14-10 game here at the break. South Charleston leading Huntington High scoring first. South Charleston answered. Then it was a 43-yard field goal by Huntington's Johnny Ii. 10-7 game. And South Charleston gets a touchdown in the second quarter. And they lead it here at the break 14-10. South Charleston 5-2 on the season. And Huntington coming in with that perfect report card of 8-0. Trying to become an undefeated team for the third time in school history, all under the direction of Billy Seals. Huntington High band on the field here at the moment. South Charleston's band still to come. We'll come back a bit later, talk stats with you as South Charleston leads Huntington 14-10 here on Video Productions.
The relationship between a lawyer and a client is based on trust. You have to make certain that the lawyer you hire has your best interests at heart. We typically meet our clients at the worst times of their lives, and it's our job to help them. Over the years, we've been entrusted with some of the biggest cases in West Virginia. That's because we have a track record of success and getting exceptional results. We built a reputation as one of the go-to law firms throughout the state of West Virginia.
Joining me, high-profile lawyer Ben Salango. Ben, it's a real honor to have you on.
In fact, many of our cases come from other lawyers. Lawyers who've worked with us, lawyers who've worked against us, and even those who've merely heard of our results. We're proud of the reputation we've earned in the community for providing exceptional, aggressive legal representation. When you hire my law firm, you don't get excuses, you get results.
For Kindred Communications, this is home. When other broadcasting companies went nationwide, we stayed home.
This is home.
This is home.
This is home.
6 radio stations broadcasting on 9 signals across 3 states. For Kindred Communications,
This is
home.
In the history of Dutch Miller Kia, there has never been a better time to trade in your car. Because of major supply chain disruptions, your vehicle is worth more than it ever has been. Even if you're not looking to trade in your car, we're interested in buying your vehicle at up to 30% above fair market value. We have customers trading in their vehicles that are getting more now than when they paid for it. Learn more and text or chat now at DutchMillerKia.com.
For a limited time, get a brand new 2022 Sportage starting at just $189 a month.
We know who we are, where we've been, where we're going. Like hospitals all over America, we are changing, redefining, restructuring ourselves to be the best community health system in the region we serve. We are 2 hospitals with more than 30 locations, 450 providers, and one mission: to heal. As one, we are Thomas Health, caring for our communities today and tomorrow.
No one leaves their home thinking they will be in a car crash. Unfortunately, in West Virginia, more than 1/3 of people killed in car crashes are not wearing their seatbelts. Those who choose to wear their seatbelts stand a good chance to live another day. Law enforcement wants you to have a fighting chance. That's why we are busy making sure everyone is buckled up.
We would rather you arrive safe at all your destinations rather than it be your final destination.
Buckle up, click it, or ticket.
14-10 here at the break. Jim Mahan, let's go through some of these stats here in this first half of action.
Yeah, you got some rushing for South Charleston. Of course, Dunn, 8 carries, 25 yards. Dean, 8 carries, pretty balanced there, 53 yards. 16 carries, 78 total for the half for the Black Eagles. Passing Dunn was outstanding, 8 of 10, 120 yards. An unfortunate pick right before the half. Went through the receiver's hands. Receiving for the Black Eagles, Harris, 3 catches for 47 yards. McCorkle with a couple for 48. 11 first downs for the Black Eagles. On the other side of the ball, we got Huntington High School. They had 12 total carries for 68 yards. Leading the pack, of course, was Gavin Locko, 3 for 36. Jones followed up with 5 for 19, and Felder had 4 for 13. In the passing department, Locko was a little bit more conservative, 3 of 6, 30 yards, 1 pick. That was that 4th down heave that they were trying to get into the end zone there late in the second quarter. Receiving Harold, 2 for 16, and Waynick, 1 for 14. 8 first downs for the Highlanders. We've had a bevy of penalties from both sides. Huntington has been marked 3 times for 20 yards, and South Charleston has been marked 8 times for 50 yards. So that's where we stand at 14-7. And then one other interesting stat I'll throw your way, Mr. Martin, is the Highlanders have scored 104 points in the second quarter against their opponents this year, but against that stern Black Eagle defense, they managed to score 0. So that's where we stand, 14-10, Black Eagles at the half.
All right, great band performance here by Huntington High. South Charleston still to come. A 4-point lead for SC over Huntington here at the break. We return with more here from the beautiful campus of South Charleston High School. You're watching great high school football coverage on Video Productions.
No, when you send or receive a text message, you take your eyes off the road for 5 seconds. At 55 miles an hour, that's like driving more than the length of a football field, blindfolded. As a result, thousands of people die every year in crashes related to distracted driving. That's why we're cracking down on people who text or use their smartphones while driving. We would rather you cross the goal line alive. Law enforcement officers write tickets to save lives. Don't text and drive.
With all that's going on, Mullen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling wants to remind our neighbors we're here for you. We're taking extra precautions to protect you and our employees. Right now, we're offering 6-month no-interest financing to help you stay comfortable throughout this crisis. Our superior indoor air filtration options will keep viruses, bacteria, and allergens down, increasing indoor air quality, comfort, and safety. Call us today and see how we can help you. Mullen, we're comfortable when you are.
In the history of Dutch Miller Ram, there has never been a better time to trade in your car. Because of major supply chain disruptions, your vehicle is worth more than it ever has been. Even if you're not looking to trade in your car, we're interested in buying your vehicle at up to 30% above fair market value. We have customers trading in their vehicles that are getting more now than they paid for it. Learn more and text or chat now at DutchMillerRam.com.
Come in today for the Make This the Summer event and get friends and family pricing for everyone.
Dante Stills? Doug Nestor? You guys shop here?
Yeah, man, all the time.
This be all for you?
Wait, Doug, I got you on this.
All right, I'll get you next time.
The relationship between a lawyer and a client is based on trust. You have to make certain that the lawyer you hire has your best interests at heart. We typically meet our clients at the worst times of their lives, and it's our job to help them. Over the years, we've been entrusted with some of the biggest cases in West Virginia. That's because we have a track record of success and getting exceptional results. We built a reputation as one of the go-to law firms throughout the state of West Virginia.
Joining me, high-profile lawyer Ben Salango. Ben, it's a real honor to have you on.
In fact, many of our cases come from other lawyers. Lawyers who've worked with us, lawyers who've worked against us, and even those who've merely heard of our results. We're proud of the reputation we've earned in the community for providing exceptional, aggressive legal representation. When you hire my law firm, you don't get excuses, you get results.
The South Charleston band now on the field performing here at halftime, and the homestanding Black Eagle football squad leading Huntington 14-10. Huntington got on the board first. Amari Felder, a 5-yard run. 7:03 mark of that opening quarter. South Charleston marched right down the field, 2-yard run, 4:26 mark, and we were tied at 7. Johnny I had the extra point for Huntington High. Chase Edwards drilled it for South Charleston, and then I with a 43-yard field goal, 50.3 seconds to go in that first quarter to give Huntington back the lead at 10-7. Jim I is just a sophomore.
Kid's got a bright future ahead of him. I mean, he's comes in, if you'll notice, and he just has a smooth delivery when he hits impact with that ball. And you just notice all his mechanics are, he's just going to continue to hone them, get some leg strength. He's going to be a special kicker.
The Jim, the II field goal made it 10-7 after the first quarter, and then it would be Trey Dunn getting in from a tough 1-yard line. It was tough to get in there, but he did on a first down play from right at the 1-yard line. And Edwards, also an outstanding kicker for South Charleston, he put it through the uprights, and that's where we stand here at the break. 14-10, Huntington coming in 8-0, number 2 in Class AAA. South Charleston 5-2, tied for number 8 in Class AAA with Spring Valley.
And you mentioned earlier there, Mark, Dunn's tough 1-yard run to give them the lead. He initially, it looked like on the replay that he was stopped. He was stuffed, but then he uses his athleticism to spin his body around and then place that ball across the plane to break the plane for the officials to signal for the touchdown. That was a tough 1-yard run from that young man who's going to be around. He's definitely going to be a special player.
Well, this is the 9th weekend of high school football in the great state of West Virginia. So some teams with a game to go and some with 2 games to go. So you're looking at this Huntington team. They've got 1 game left. They'll have an open date next week and then finish out the campaign when they take on the Riverside Warriors. South Charleston, again, playing game 8 of the campaign. So the Black Eagles will have a couple more after this one, take on Hurricane next weekend, and then wrap it up with the Beckley Woodrow Wilson Flying Eagles before postseason play begins. And after what we dealt with last year, and of course I know teams are still dealing with COVID, and that's just been a tough deal for all high school athletic teams across the state and across the nation over the course of the past couple of years. But hopefully this coming postseason, it will be the norm, and we'll have those 4 weeks leading up to Wheeling Island Stadium.
Yeah, I'm sure there's not one coach out there in West Virginia that wouldn't like to see those 6 teams square it off in Wheeling Island for the championship, unlike what we had last year, which was unfortunate. But, give the SSAC credit. They did the best they could with what they had. It was one of those situations where everybody was in the same boat. So it just happened to work out the way it worked out, and South Charleston was the recipient of that state championship. They had a wonderful season, and they deserved the championship. But this year we want to play it out. These teams want to play it out, so they want to get to Wheeling and make sure that the best team comes out on top.
Well, Huntington High coming off back-to-back losing seasons, that's not something they have been used to in the Billy Seals era. And Well, you talk about a guy who came from out of state and took a chance at this job back in 2009 and an 0-10 season to start, and then it's just been uphill ever since for Coach Seals and company. Again, has had a team in Wheeling. Donnie Mays was an assistant on those back-to-back state championship teams of 08 and 09 here at South Charleston, the offensive coordinator under the late, great John Messenger. So these are two programs that know all about Wheeling. In fact, you look at the banners down there in the end zone off to our right in the 1994 state championship. Our good friend Bryce Casto was the head coach of the Black Eagles that season. They beat John Kelly's University Hawks. Coach Kelly still guiding that program in Morgantown. And that was the first year for state championship football in the city of Wheeling.
Yeah, 27 years later, Coach Kelly's still up there at University.
Great coach.
Shaping those young men and molding them and giving them the opportunities to be responsible. But you talked about a little bit earlier about it, Mark, about the championships and how it's special to get that team to Wheeling, and how hats off to Huntington's administration and their boosters that they stuck with Coach Seals. That, you know, nowadays teams are looking for what can you do for me lately, and Coach Seals started out the gate a little slow with an 0-10 season, but you know, now he's turned it around, and they've had winning and productive teams ever since that first season, and he's got his team on the right track for sure.
Well, a program that's been dominant in West Virginia, Martinsburg, and Dave Walker, who is now the head coach at Concord University, and the stadium there, Martinsburg, named in his honor after winning 8 state championships in a 10-year span. He was 0-10 his first year at Martinsburg, so anytime a coach is having a rough go of it early on, I always try to remind them that, hey, the guy that's enjoying a lot of success right now, of course, Coach Walker has since moved on, but it's something to behold there, what he managed to do. And Billy Seals has not gotten that championship yet, but certainly aiming for it. And Donnie Mays once won now as a head coach. We've got a great second half in store for you. South Charleston 14, Huntington 10. We're back with the second half in a moment here on Video Productions.
The relationship between a lawyer and a client is based on trust. You have to make certain that the lawyer you hire has your best interests at heart. We typically meet our clients at the worst times of their lives, and it's our job to help them. Over the years, we've been entrusted with some of the biggest cases in West Virginia. That's because we have a track record of success and getting exceptional results. We built a reputation as one of the go-to law firms throughout the state of West Virginia.
Joining me, high-profile lawyer Ben Salengo. Ben, it's a real honor to have you on.
In fact, many of our cases come from other lawyers. Lawyers who've worked with us, lawyers who've worked against us, and even those who've merely heard of our results. We're proud of the reputation we've earned in the community for providing exceptional, aggressive legal representation. When you hire my law firm, you don't get excuses, you get results.
For Kindred Communications, this is home. When other broadcasting companies went nationwide, we stayed home.
This is home.
This is home.
This is home.
6 radio stations broadcasting on 9 signals across 3 states. For Kindred Communications,
This is
home.
In the history of Dutch Miller Kia, there has never been a better time to trade in your car. Because of major supply chain disruptions, your vehicle is worth more than it ever has been. Even if you're not looking to trade in your car, we're interested in buying your vehicle at up to 30% above fair market value. We have customers trading in their vehicles that are getting more now than when they paid for it. Learn more and text or chat now at DutchMillerKia.com.
For a limited time, get a brand new 2022 Sportage starting at just $189 a month.
We know who we are, where we've been, where we're going. Like hospitals all over America, we are changing, redefining, restructuring ourselves to be the best community health system in the region we serve. We are 2 hospitals with more than 30 locations, 450 providers, and 1 mission: to heal. As one, we are Thomas Health, caring for our communities today and tomorrow.
No one leaves their home thinking they will be in a car crash. Unfortunately, in West Virginia, more than 1/3 of people killed in car crashes are not wearing their seatbelts. Those who choose to wear their seatbelts stand a good chance to live another day. Law enforcement wants you to have a fighting chance. That's why we are busy making sure everyone is buckled up.
We would rather you arrive safe at all your destinations rather than it be your final destination.
Buckle up, click it, or ticket.
It's a 14-10 game here as we get set to begin this second half of action in this Mountain State Athletic Conference showdown between the South Charleston Black Eagles and the Huntington Highlanders. Captains at midfield, Rob Wheeler again is our lead official tonight. Great crew, and we always like to remind people, young people especially, but anyone interested, love sports, become an official. And I know, Jim, you spent time in the officiating business as a basketball official, loved it.
Really enjoyed that camaraderie. I think the thing that people don't really understand, the best officials are the ones that aren't seen. If you're not talking about the officials, that means you're focusing on the players and the coaches, and that's really why you're there. We are human. There are mistakes made, but they're not out there to do any ill harm to anybody. They're just doing the best job they can.
Mondrell Dean and Wayne Harris will await the kick from Johnny I. So South Charleston with this 14-10 lead will get the football to begin this second half.
Waiting on some clock to tick down so we can put the correct 12-minute start to this third quarter.
I. And he will heave this one deep. Harris hauls it in at the 5. And Harris, good look there, 24-yard line. He takes it banged out of bounds by David Bradshaw, one of the guys across the way on the sideline of Huntington, just enjoying football, but boy, did a great job at Cabell Midland High School. Chip McMillan had some teams in the semifinals before giving way to Luke Sammons, who's had Cabell Midland at Wheeling Island Stadium. Boy, you think about Huntington High, Cabell Midland, Spring Valley, right there, bang, 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 just down the interstate on 64. 3 great programs, Billy Seals, Luke Sammons, Brad Dingus, and lots of great programs right here in Kanawha County, the Kanawha Valley, which is steeped in football tradition. Dunn hands it off, and Dean met head on there by David Bradshaw. And you think about South Charleston football, those great teams down through the years. There have been a lot of guys from South Charleston High School playing the NFL. Alex Hawkins and Robert Alexander and Anthony Bass and Carl Lee, Aaron Dobson.
They've had a rich tradition of players in the NFL. Absolutely, for sure.
Carl Lee, guy you played in the North-South game with, and the defensive back of the year in West Virginia, named in honor of that former Black Eagle grade who starred at Marshall and then spent the bulk of his NFL career with the Vikings. So Dean getting the call, taken down, and will bring up third down here.
You see a lot of deliberation on Coach May's part here as he's starting out trying to offset the tempo. If you notice in the first half, when they came out, it was click, click, click. It was click on the edges. It was a quick slants. It was the throws. Now they're being very deliberate in their delivery about where they're going to do.
All right, Dunn, back to pass. Has time, guns it in there, and incomplete. Well, he had Harris and Tubbs right there, but the ball just bounces away. Well, he delivered a strike, but unfortunately it falls incomplete. And for the first time tonight, Jim, a punt in this game.
We're finally going to see a punt in the game at the 10:39 mark. But Dunn had a nice job. He had 2 receivers there. I think part of the problem is I think both of them were fighting for the ball, maybe didn't know they were on the same team.
Ball at the 27. Spurlock is the snapper to Edwards and gets it away. There was some good pressure coming, and Waynick, who is ever dangerous on the punt return game, and he takes it to the 45-yard line of South Charleston.
That was a first also, in addition to being the first punt, of course. That is the first 3 and out from either team in the game. So excellent field position for the Highlanders as they start on the South Charleston side of the 50 at the 46-yard line.
28-yard punt by Edwards, and Huntington will go to work here, looking to retake the lead, led it 7-0. It was 7-7. They had a 10-7 lead, and right now South Charleston owners of a 14-10 edge. Locko will go under center. Felder wheels around and now breaks it to the outside. Full head of steam for Felder, and races out of bounds at the 29-yard line. Good gain there by Felder.
Nice 16-yard gain by Felder. He follows his blockers well. You're going to see how they set it up with that old Canadian style, backward and then forward, so he can get to the edge a little quicker. Kind of like a running start on a tag play in baseball, but he did a nice job following his blockers. They're now down to the 30-yard line.
And speaking of baseball, I'm proud you've, kind of keeping your eye off the Dodgers at the moment.
Yeah, thank goodness they're not playing. I won't have a heart attack.
Back to work tomorrow, trying to stay in it. And here's a pitch to Zaza Jackson, and Jackson gets away from Dean. Well, I thought Dean had him. I think Dean's shoe popped off.
Jackson did an excellent job, because that could have ended up being about a 5 or 6 yard loss. He ends up getting a couple 3 yards out of it, where I didn't think he was going to ever get out of that grip.
Zaza Jackson coming into the game, 9 carries, 90 yards, a rushing touchdown. And he's another youngster that they're very high on. Just a freshman. Speedster can get into space, so a gain of 3 here. Second down. Locko fires it out and in and out of the hands. Not sure if that ball might have not been tipped as he tried to get it to Nathan Harrell.
Yeah, had a little bit of a slow development on it. I think Harrell was trying to run with it, of course. It's typical. We talk about it every week, Mark. Our receivers want to take off with that ball before they've actually secured it. And could have been a little bit of that also as well. It does upset the timing to the receiver when the ball is tipped, of course. But you being a former receiver know that the most important thing is keep your eyes on that ball.
Latch onto it. Locko steps up in the pocket, and Locko going to take off and now floats it into the hands of Waynick. Makes the grab at the 16, and Waynick still fighting for yardage and takes it down to the 1 yard line. What a play by Locko to keep the play alive. And then Waynick makes the grab and continues on for the first down inside the South Charleston 5 yard line.
Yeah, nice job. He'll roll out here to his left. He gets a pressure. The pocket collapses. He's thinking about running. He sees his receiver, just flips it over there. Sees him open. Waynick just keeps driving through. You see he goes from the 10 down to the 2 yard line.
Waynick had a catch this season that made the top play, one of the top plays of ESPN. And here is Locko. Not sure if he didn't lose the grip on that one. So recovers, and Huntington loses the play another day.
I'm not sure how that transpired. I mean, he ended up getting a yard out of it. I don't know if that was a design delay draw or did he mishandle the snap. It's kind of hard to see from this angle. Nonetheless, 2nd and 1 yard to go to punch it in to retake the lead for the Highlanders.
Felder in motion, the handoff, banging ahead, and nothing doing. What a stop there by the Black Eagles as they gave the call to DeEdric Graves. That's Graves' first carry of the game. Graves, 16 carries, 172 yards, and a couple of touchdowns. He brings the power game to the run situations for Huntington High. Third down. And that ball is so close to the goal line.
That ball looks like it's a half a yard from the plane. I'll be honest with you, I wasn't sure Graves got that real estate back, but here we are on third down, so this was the proof's in the pudding on this play.
Jones in the backfield, the snap to Locko, and he is in. Touchdown, Huntington High. Well, the Huntington High coaching staff not happy, and I'm not so sure that I can't agree with them. I think they think maybe the Highlanders may have jumped on that left side of the line. Nonetheless, Locko is in for his first touchdown of the game. And Huntington High retakes the advantage. So it's Scout Arthur, the holder. I's kick is up. Nice snap by Maxwell Wentz. And it's a 17-14 game here at South Charleston High School. Back in a moment on Video Productions.
We know who we are, where we've been, where we're going. Like hospitals all over America, we are changing, redefining, restructuring ourselves to be the best community health system in the region we serve. We are 2 hospitals with more than 30 locations, 450 providers, and 1 mission: to heal. As one, we are Thomas Health, caring for our communities today and tomorrow.
An injury at any age can be a game changer, but with walk-in clinics Monday through Saturday, the Marshall Sports Medicine Institute is ready to get you off the bench and back in the game. Marshall Sports Medicine Institute takes care of the herd. Let us take care of you.
Little General Stores has served our hometowns for decades, providing those essential needs for the road of life. Rest assured, you'll leave knowing they have your needs covered. And by the way, tell them Hug sent you.
She had a heck of a career there, Mark.
I puts his foot into it. And Harris journeys back to get it at the 5. And Harris with a burst of speed. Wayne Harris stopped at the 36-yard line. 31-yard return by the outstanding sophomore for the Black Eagles. And so South Charleston goes to work here, Jim Mayhem. Let's talk about that drive by Huntington to regain the advantage.
Yeah, the balance, a big play of that was a 27-yard short pass from Locko to Waynick, and then Waynick did the rest with some power running. And so 6 plays, 54 yards for the Highlanders to take the lead back, but an excellent return by Harris off that kickoff by and the Black Eagles are in business at the 37.
Mondrell Dean in the backfield with Trey Dunn. And Trey Dunn will fake the handoff, keep it, and maybe a couple, but boy, he met head-on with Tyrese Smith, the 210-pound senior linebacker for Huntington High. It will bring up second down.
Yeah, that's a punishing tackle there and no gain for Dunn, and I'm sure he wishes at that point he probably would have handed that ball off. Saved him some pain.
Huntington's defense allowing just 7.3, 180 yards a game. Dunn fakes it to Dean, rifles it out, and the nice catch made on the far side there by Estep, the junior. Well, nice catch, but just won't create much of a gain.
No, you're looking at about a 2-yard pass there, reception by Estep. Of course, it adds to Dunn's yardage total for the game, but it leads them into a kind of a sticky play calling situation in 3rd and long. So you're limited in what you can call here. You need to be a little bit cautious because both teams have a pick.
Estep in motion. Dunn awaits the snap. Now Dunn sees an opening, and Dunn, boy, slipped down. Oh, boy. Not sure if he would have gotten there, but, boy, just those feet coming out from under him at the 42-yard line. So Donnie May is going to send out the punting unit.
And you hear the disenchantment from the crowd that they got to go. This is probably not a good opportunity to go.
A long way to go in this game.
You sure do. 6:43, and on a rolling clock, you need to play field position here. Hopefully, they could get a turnover or a stop and get that ball back.
Edwards awaiting Spurlock's snap. Puts his foot into it. And this one is going to roll to the 15-yard line. Nice kick.
47-yard punt. They could just flip the field position. Now we're going to start at the 15, 16-yard line for the Highlanders. This will be clearly their worst field position of the game.
Gavin Locko and the Highlanders with the lead of 3 at 17-14. What a game this has been between these two. Again, Huntington coming in. Edge in the series 12-11. Played twice in 2017, once in the regular season, once in the playoffs. And penalty markers flying here.
I think we have a delay or an illegal substitution. A delay of game. It was kind of a quick play set against the Highlanders, but nonetheless.
South Charleston season's been interesting, Jim. They opened at Morgantown, and there was a wreck on 79, so that game didn't get finished until close to midnight. So Capital, meanwhile, had the season delayed, so they had to open up on a Monday. So the game with Capital and South Charleston was played on a Saturday. South Charleston's played 2 Saturday games this season. Here is the pitch, and check out Jones. Well, we know Jones for his power. Jones showing speed. Check that. Jackson. Zaza Jackson, 8, not 6. And just like that, Huntington High in the end zone.
You're talking about explosion. You watch this off of the edge from Zaza Jackson. He just takes the pitch from Locko. Around the edge he goes, and he tiptoes up that sideline. Then here comes the speed, and it's good night, Irene. 89 yards to pay dirt.
And now the officials are talking, so not sure if there was. And it is Donnie Mays. He's pointing the other way to see what Rob Wheeler's got for us. Zaza Jackson, the freshman.
Sportsmanlike conduct is the initial call against the Black Eagles.
Now they got a call against Huntington too, but the score is going to stand.
Yeah, this will be a dead ball after the play foul on both teams. So they'll offset. The officials are going to do a good job. They're going to explain to both sides that this is what we have. We're going to go and kick the extra point. The 89-yard scamper by Zaza Jackson will stand, Mark.
And it was a scamper. A scintillating scamper.
Yeah. That was an easy drive. One play, 89 yards.
So I out of the hold of Arthur. Wins the snap. Kick is up. And we have our biggest lead of the game here at 24-14. Highlanders on top of the Black Eagles of South Charleston here on Video Productions.
Making the score 24-14.
Are we out?
For Kindred Communications, this is home. When other broadcasting companies went nationwide, we stayed home.
This is home.
This is home.
This is home.
6 radio stations broadcasting on 9 signals across 3 states. For Kindred Communications,
This is
home.
In the history of Dutch Miller Jeep, there has never been a better time to trade in your car. Because of major supply chain disruptions, your vehicle is worth more than it ever has been. Even if you're not looking to trade in your car, we're interested in buying your vehicle at up to 30% above fair market value. We have customers trading in their vehicles that are getting more now than they paid for it. Learn more and text or chat now at DutchMillerJeep.com.
Come in today for the Make This the Summer event and get friends and family pricing for everyone.
He can do it all.
Here we go, 6:03 to go, and Jim, big series coming up here for South Charleston.
Yeah, really important, Mark. You got to look at it from right now. If you'll notice that they marked off that unsportsmanlike penalty after the play against Huntington. I think it may have been some excessive celebration. So now they're going to kick off from the 25. Probably not a big challenge for II. What South Charleston's looking at is a good positive return, something around the 50-yard line, and then getting a score on the board, because they have to come back with something here. That 14 unanswered by the Highlanders quickly.
Harris had a good return the last time. II still knocks it to the 20. Harris turning the corner and then turning on the Jets, and Harris takes it to the 41, 21-yard return for Wayne Harris, and that is where South Charleston will begin here now. 5:55 to go in the third quarter. Long way to go in this one, but at the moment the Black Eagles stare at a 10-point deficit.
Obviously this shouldn't come as a shock, but this is the best field position that South Charleston's had since the beginning of the game. So like we said earlier, what we're looking at is we need Dunn to craft a drive to get this team down and get some points on the board right away.
Dunn takes the snap, fakes the handoff, shoots it out, and the catch will be made by Estep, taken down at the 48-yard line. So a gain of 7 there for Jaden Estep. And you talk about the importance of the game. Well, every game is important, but if you're Huntington, you're trying to get to 9-0. You come in number 2, and you know if you can lead. They've been number 1 at stages this season once the ratings started coming out. You stay at that number 2 position, you're home through the playoffs as long as you win until you would go to Wheeling if you can get that far. Meanwhile, for South Charleston, you know, they're tied for 8th. The top 8 will be at home in the first round of the playoffs. So
they're right on the bubble about whether they're going to host the game or go on the road in the game. So that's why this is critically important. This drive right here is for them.
And, of course, you know how the ratings work, too. You pick up those bonus points, and you look at what Huntington's done this season with that record. Well, here you go with a procedure penalty, false start against South Charleston. That's been one of the Achilles heels here tonight for South Charleston.
Yeah, that's
been penalties.
That's our 9th penalty, and they're all small except for they've had one 15-yarder, which was a holding, which negated a nice run by Dean in the first half. And you'll notice these are all kind of smaller, but they add up, and they do a little bit more mentally than anything else. So
well, you were second and short, now you're second and long.
Absolutely.
Dunn guns it, and the catch made right in stride. What a snag by Harris. When you talk about Harris, he's a young man. He played a lot as a freshman.
This is a wonderful throw by Dunn. You see this guy step up and just zings that pass. Harris right there in the seam. Nice catch. They're in business.
Harris playing in the memory of his late cousin, KJ Taylor, who was an outstanding athlete at Capital High School. And here is Dunn, and Dunn will be taken down by Donovan Garrett.
That was a nice play by Donovan Garrett, because I'm going to tell you right now, Gavin Dunn had some real estate on that edge.
Talk about the death of KJ Taylor, just taken too young at 18 years old. And Billy Sills' crew, when Huntington High came to play at Capital this year, the students of Huntington High coming to the game, they all wore blue in honor of the late Taylor. Here's Dunn. Shoots it out, and catching the pass in traffic is Harris, and then Harris just keeps fighting for yardage. What a play by Harris.
I don't think people appreciate his athleticism.
Oh, my.
Not only off of the catch, but that rocket spin and then turn around I'm just going to play some power football.
Yeah, that's toughness. And
yeah, sure is.
He is not very big. He's 5'10", 160, and that may be a stretch.
And as we say in the vernacular, soaking wet. This is a very important third down. If they can get it close to the sticks, they give them a less of a of a decision-making process to go for it. But if they don't get any real estate here, they've got a tough fourth down call of what they're going to do.
They're down and 5 from the 29. Trey Dunn with pressure coming, lofting it up, and he's got Harris who makes the grab and scores the touchdown. 29-yard strike from Dunn to Harris, and South Charleston gets closer.
That was a fantastic pass by Dunn. He's back here in the pocket. It's a timing throw. He throws it right on the edge. Harris just hauls it in, and that's a super critical drive on part of the Black Eagles.
3:08 remaining in the third. Edwards, a guy that Donnie Mays had in PE class. You find these kickers sometimes, or players in general, when you're a PE teacher, and this young man has been outstanding, and he knocks that one through. 24-21, back to a three-point game, and we're back in a moment on Video Productions.
With all that's going on, Mullen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling wants to remind our neighbors we're here for you. We're taking extra precautions to protect you and our employees. Right now, we're offering 6-month no-interest financing to help you stay comfortable throughout this crisis. Our superior indoor air filtration options will keep viruses, bacteria, and allergens down, increasing indoor air quality, comfort, and safety. Call us today and see how we can help you. Mullen, we're comfortable when you are.
No one leaves their home thinking they will be in a car crash. Unfortunately, in West Virginia, more than 1/3 of people killed in car crashes are not wearing their seatbelts. Those who choose to wear their seatbelts stand a good chance to live another day. Law enforcement wants you to have a fighting chance. That's why we are busy making sure everyone is buckled up.
We would rather you arrive safe at all your destinations rather than it be your final destination.
Buckle up, click it, or ticket.
A three-point game here in South Charleston. Black Eagles striking. Edwards squibbing it. It hit a Huntington up man, and landing on the football for the Highlanders, Antonio Taylor, 5'10", 175 sophomore. Good heads-up play by that young man.
19, Antonio Taylor.
South Charleston again this season, open at Morgantown, winning that game 37-28, down Capital 42-21, knocked off St. Albans 55-0, and then the wheels just kind of came off against a good Spring Valley team, 53-8. They bounced back down to George Washington, another good team, 14-13. GW went for 2, trying to win it. Then they defeated Parkersburg on a Saturday, 38-21. Jim, they didn't get to play. We did a lightning game there at Laley Field. Got called at halftime. They never got that game off the ground. Locko got away from one, does not get away from the other, but the player that had Locko did the right. Well, I thought he was injured, but I think he's just frustrated that he didn't have that big sack, and that's Aaron Clark.
Yeah, Clark came bolting in there and had Locko dead to right. He just kind of slipped through, used a little bit of a spin move there to eliminate about a 9-yard sack, would end up being really about a 5-yard sack on Locko. But like we said earlier, Mark, if that South Charleston defense can play inspired and get Huntington to actually punt, since they haven't punted this game, if they can get them to give the ball up on a punt.
Well, Locko.
Oh, this is going to come back.
Yeah, Locko takes off with it, and he will go out of bounds, and they knocked him down, but you have to be careful right there. But I think Dean just he was trying to slow up and kind of banged into Locko as he goes down, but that good run comes back.
Yeah, that's a motion penalty on the Highlanders. They weren't set from the get-go. You'll see the referee Wheeler will signal motion, an illegal shift against them. So you're going to negate about a 30-yard run by Locko.
You know where I first met Rob Wheeler? At the Glenville State College football camp.
Is that right?
Yeah, he was a couple of years ahead. I remember them talking about him at that camp, saying they looked at Buddy James and said, "You got you a good athlete coming here," because he was just about to become a Big Red. And what a thrill that is when you're living in Parkersburg to become a Big Red or a Patriot.
Absolutely.
All right, so it is second down, 14 football. at the 32, actually a 2nd and 19 now. And here is a pass. Wainick coming across, and then Wainick gets tattooed. Wow, and that is Dean. What a game Dean has played. And Dean comes up a little slow. I'm not so sure, Jim. Dean, I think maybe it's more, he is having trouble keeping a shoe on in this game.
Well, he is, but one of the things that he's had trouble with earlier, Mark, he's had a little ankle injury. And you'll see here when he got up, he kind of twisted that ankle a little bit. You're talking about hello, welcome to the middle.
Yeah, but boy, a guy they cannot be without, and that is Dean. And he's up, and he'll come off, and that will bring Hunter Withrow back into the game, number 44. Withrow's a captain. He's 5'8", 215, a senior. Does a lot of the little things, hard worker.
Yeah, nice job by Dean on that tackle. That's hard to do coming across the middle. It sets up at 3rd and 16 or 17, 16 yards to go. So if they can get them to punt, and the momentum shifts back to the Black Eagles.
3 wide to the bottom of your screen for Gavin Locko. Locko sets up and finds his man, Wainick. Wainick still on his feet. Wainick, a stiff arm, and will go down at the 1 yard line. No flags. Wow. Wainick, the Mr. Everything.
63-yard, after a 0 gain on that nice stick by Dean, a 63-yard catch and run for Wainick from Locko. Right here, he tiptoes along the sidelines.
Just about had him there.
Yeah, and then he just does a nice stiff arm and just gets enough of it to get him at the 1.
He used that long stride. He's 6'2", 185, and that ball right there near the goal line again, just like it was the last time. All right, Locko under center. Turns, goes to Jones, and Jones fighting his way, and they took him down.
Yeah, they're not going to signal a touchdown yet. There was a lot of tough bodies in there to get through. Those Martin twins, they don't take kindly to people running up through their territory.
And Jason Barnett, Jaden
Barnett,
nose guard and defensive end, and their defensive coordinator, Lamar Martin.
A lot of Martins
so
out there.
We had the Martin. You had the Martin, right?
Martin, and somebody in there.
Straight ahead, and that is Locko, and he will take it in for the touchdown, and Huntington answers after the TD pass by South Charleston.
Touchdown, number 3, Gavin Locko.
So Locko scores it with 13 ticks remaining here in this 3rd quarter. Big play on that drive. Locko to Wainick. And who has been right on. His night also includes a 43-yard field goal, splits the uprights. 31-21, Huntington back up by 10, and we're back to South Charleston here on Video Productions in a moment.
Injury at any age can be a game changer, but Marshall Orthopedics, the area's only comprehensive sports medicine practice, is ready to get you off the bench and back in the game. Marshall Orthopedics takes care of the herd. Let us take care of you.
Did you know when you send or receive a text message, you take your eyes off the road for 5 seconds? At 55 miles per hour, that's like driving more than the length of a football field blindfolded. As a result, thousands of people die every year in crashes related to distracted driving. That's why we're cracking down on people who text or use their smartphones while driving. We would rather you cross the goal line alive. Law enforcement officers write tickets to save lives. Don't text and drive.
Little General Stores has served our hometowns for decades. That's why they offer the LG Rewards Card, a way to earn points for free drinks and even discounts on fuel. And by the way, tell them Hug sent you.
Johnny set to kick off here as Huntington retakes a 10-point advantage, and beautiful kick again, and it will be taken by Harris at the 6. Harris with a nice move there, gets away from one defender and then upended And the tackle made there by Nathan Harrell.
Yeah, they're really lucky. Huntington is that Wayne Harris didn't get past that one guy, or he would have taken that one to the house.
And Black Eagles now, they look to have to respond here. Just keep battling. What a battle it's been here tonight. And South Charleston again down some key guys going against the undefeated Huntington Highlanders, as good as advertised. South Charleston talented as well. Two great coaches and staffs. And what a game plan they put together here. Very entertaining. What Dunn gets it away, and that's picked off. Well, Dunn got hit at the last second, and it will go off the fingertips of the intended receiver, Tubbs, and Felder makes the interception.
Yeah, that was a little unfortunate. You see this, Dunn's going to get hit right at the very end, and then the little ball's a little bit high, but the fact that you have Felder right there in the right place at the right time, and the Highlanders are in business up 10 with the ball in South Charleston territory.
Now you got to ask your defense to stiffen here. 2.1 to go in this third quarter. South Charleston has slugged it out with Huntington right now at the moment. Highlanders up 10. Locko with Felder behind him in the backfield. Locko looking to throw and going to keep it. Locko's got room. And they'll bang him out of bounds right at the 12-yard line as time expires here in this third quarter.
Nice 30-yard run by Locko, and I'll tell you one thing, Dean was kind of lucky he didn't get a little bit of extracurricular there on the out of bounds. So they took a good hard look at it, but we've ended the quarter, so we'll start with the last quarter to go.
Away we go to the fourth quarter here in South Charleston. 31-21, Highlanders on top of the Black Eagles here on Video Productions.
History of Dutch Miller Subaru, there has never been a better time to trade in your car. Because of major supply chain disruptions, your vehicle is worth more than it ever has been. Even if you're not looking to trade in your car, we're interested in buying your vehicle at up to 30% above fair market value. We have customers trading in their vehicles that are getting more now than they paid for it. Learn more and text or chat now at DutchMillerSubaru.com.
Ask about 0% financing on select models and get friends and family pricing for everyone.
Did you know when you send or receive a text message, you take your eyes off the road for 5 seconds? At 55 miles an hour, that's like driving more than the length of a football field, blindfolded. As a result, thousands of people die every year in crashes related to distracted driving. That's why we're cracking down on people who text or use their smartphones while driving. We would rather you cross the goal line alive. Law enforcement officers write tickets to save lives. Don't text and drive.
We begin the fourth quarter here. Huntington and South Charleston, 31-21 our score, and Huntington looking to add to the lead. And Felder, who got the interception that put them in this position, and Felder takes it inside the 5-yard line from the 19 to the 2-yard line. 17-yard gain by Amari Felder.
Yeah, nice explosion by Felder. You see off of that right side. You notice Coach Steele's been leaning on that right guard, right tackle for Huntington. Of course, you got a senior there, and Josh Pauley and Will Meadows. Of course, Meadows the senior. Both of them, those guys are seniors, so they're veterans. And here's the Highlanders knocking on the door again, try to really put the Black Eagles in a hole.
And you got that center, Maxwell Wentz. Handoff. Fake the handoff, and it's going to be Locko into the end zone. Boy, he did a nice job selling it. And Jones, they bought, and Locko wheels around the right end and scores. So Huntington High taking advantage of the turnover, the interception, and they score it.
Yeah, it's a nice fake here by Locko. You're going to see on the dive attempt, and then just around the end, and there's nobody there, and he just walks it in.
Aye. Looking to give Huntington a 17-point lead, and he does. Breaking the action. Highlanders trying to pull away. Black Eagles, so they got some fight left in them here. Long way to go in this fourth quarter. 21, Huntington on top of South Charleston. Back in a moment on Video Productions.
4 plays.
We know who we are, where we've been, where we're going. Like hospitals all over America, we are changing, redefining, restructuring ourselves to be the best community health system in the region we serve. We are 2 hospitals with more than 30 locations, 450 providers, and 1 mission: to heal. As one, we are Thomas Health, caring for our communities today and tomorrow.
An injury at any age can be a game changer. But with walk-in clinics Monday through Saturday, the Marshall Sports Medicine Institute is ready to get you off the bench and back in the game. Marshall Sports Medicine Institute takes care of the herd. Let us take care of you.
Little General Stores has served our hometowns for decades, providing those essential needs for the road of life. Rest assured, you'll leave knowing they have your needs covered. And by the way, tell them Hug sent you.
Best kicker I've seen in the state so far.
I's kick taking Harris to the 10. Harris with a burst, and Harris, boy, he is dangerous. Gets it to the 32-yard line, 22-yard return for Wayne Harris, just a sophomore. You mentioned maybe the best kicker you've seen, and I tell you what, Harris is about as fun to watch as any returner we've had the opportunity to see this season.
There are not too many guys in Wayne Harris's league, and this guy, as you mentioned earlier, Mark, he's only a sophomore, so this kid's going to be around a while, and he's really a special player.
Same with I. All right, so Trey Dunn and company, they got work to do. Dunn launching, and that ball will go out of bounds as he intended it for Tubbs, who was guarded by Scout Arthur. Scout Arthur's older brother, Stone, was an outstanding player for the Highlanders, graduated last season. He's now in the program at Alderson Broadus.
We got some laundry on the field. Let's see what the initial call is.
It looks like he's going to go against South Charleston, and that will set the football back to the 28-yard line.
That would be an ineligible receiver downfield.
Dunn going deep, and that one unable to track it down was McCorkle. So that brings up a second down after the penalty, so it'll be second down.
Yeah, some really good coverage by Khalif Ty, that sophomore, number 1 for Huntington. He was all over McCorkle.
Second and 15.
Kind of leaves Dunn's hands tied to where he's going to almost have to exclusively get to the air, him being 17 down.
Dunn in trouble, and Dunn gets away from one. Can he get away from Garrett? And he does. And finds his open man. What a play by Dunn to get away from not one but 2 defenders, rolling to his left, not easy to do, and then gunning it in the direction of E-step, but this is coming back.
Of course, we're going to see right here is the hold. He almost has him, and then we have basically a tackle there in the backfield, and excellent job by Dunn to find that open receiver, but unfortunately, all for naught as this is a hold, and this one will be coming back.
They'll put the football at the 11-yard line. And a tough break there for South Charleston. Now second down, football's at the 11. They have to get to the 44-yard line. Dunn will flip it out to Dean, and Dean makes one man miss, and then they'll hang on to him as he gets it to the 17-yard line.
Pick up about 7 for.
Pick up a 5 on the play. Third down and long, Black Eagles.
So it brings up third down.
Third and a lot of real estate to cover.
In South Charleston. Games remaining with Hurricane and Beckley, and Huntington has but one game left, and that's against Riverside. They have an open date next week, and Dunn heaves it out, and well, fans want a flag. Waynick and Harris, they were neck and neck there. Good sportsmanship, and it's going to bring up a punting situation now for South Charleston. They had a shot there, Jim.
Yeah, it looks like he thought he may have had a very nice throw by Dunn. He's got his receiver down here, and I think they just get their feet tied up. I don't think it's incidental contact, but I'm sure the South Charleston homestanding crowd was none too pleased with that non-call.
And the ball is at the 16. Edwards will step back to around the 5. Waynick at the 45.
Edwards, the last punt he had, he got the benefit of a nice roll and had about a 47-yarder.
South Charleston has to hustle an 11th man onto the field. Oh. High snap, nice job by Edwards, and Edwards goes down.
Well, that's unfortunate.
I mean, he was going to have to hurry. There's no question.
Yeah, he probably had a little time. Let's take a look at this replay. The snap was high. He did manage to keep it. We did get some pressure.
I think he was maybe thinking he's just going to take the safety, but boy,
yeah, I think I'd rather give up 2 than 6.
Yeah, I think, boy, he was just
self-preservation was probably his main focus at that point.
All right. After this play, we will do a new 50-50 number.
Well, so Huntington High will take over here now, and they don't have to go far. And South Charleston has a man come through early. That is J. Ernest Keys.
50 number 888-948.
Now, Jim, a 14-10 lead for
that. The referee was right on that position. It does negate a wonderful effort by Harris to try to get his team down into scoring position.
All right, so put the football at the 13 and Dunn and his Black Eagle teammates will go to work here on offense. Mondrell Dean will charge ahead for a few. Gets it across the 50 to the 17. Huntington trying to get to 9-0 on the season with an open date coming up, and South Charleston trying to improve to 6-2 on the campaign. 2 games to go.
Second down and 7.
In the playoffs will start the second Friday in November. Dunn will keep it and go down.
Yeah, I think that was some misread in the backfield, some miscommunication between Dunn and Dean. Dean went to the right, Dunn went to the left, and he's a man out on an island by himself. It's never a good feeling for a quarterback.
Dunn awaiting the call from the sideline, and offensive coordinator Jordan Chevalier, who played his high school ball for his father Todd at Sissonville. Trey Dunn fires the pass, and the catch is made by Harris, and Harris slipping away from the defender. Harris is a player.
He can just about do it all, Mark. He can return. He's a good catcher. Very elusive in the open field. And give his South Charles team a little credit. You know, with 7:53 to go, they're down 24 points. That's 3 possessions.
Yeah, big sure. Big first down there. Fresh set of downs for the Black Eagles here. Now, you know, as you are staring at a deficit the biggest thing you can tell your team, you can't make it all up at once. And Dean rambles for yardage to the 36-yard line.
Nice pickup there by Dean.
Yeah, Dean's been impressive tonight, boy. Just impressive performances both sides here tonight, Huntington and South Charleston. You know, we do a game of the week, and, you know, you typically just get to see teams one time. And our first chance at seeing these two clubs. And Dean picked up 6 on the play, brings up 2nd down and 4. Dunn fakes the handoff, rolling to his right, and Garrett. Well, Garrett showed great strength there. He got that hand on Dunn, and Dunn just simply, I thought Dunn would be able to get away, and Garrett proved otherwise.
Yeah, Garrett, nice grip strength there on Dunn. Dunn just couldn't shake it. It's an 8-yard sack and a loss for Dunn. It's critical there. It makes it 3rd and long instead of 3rd and manageable. Even if they didn't get anything and had an incomplete pass on that 2nd down, they still have had a 3rd down in about 4 or 5. Now they're looking at 3rd and 13.
And the play clock winding down here.
To hustle up a little bit on this one.
Get it off with 2 seconds to go on the play clock, and here's Dunn looking, firing, and into the hands of a Highlander as Arthur makes the interception. And quickly the officials come in. Sometimes, you know, boy, just situations like this.
Yeah, you get
tempers
late in
can
the
flare,
game.
but good job by all those involved, players as well as the officials, and just go back to work now.
This is where you try to instill in those players a little bit of sense of pride, a little bit of discipline. They know they're down this game for, I mean, we don't ever say it's over, but you're down 24 points with 6 minutes to go, and you just had a turnover, and they're on your side of the 50-yard line, sitting at the 31 with not too much yardage to make up to get in some more scores. So this is where you rise for your defense, and this is where you make a stand.
And the biggest thing you have to remind your kids too, you know, you get that penalty, you get ejected, and you're not going to play the next game.
That's right.
And, you know, especially, well, no matter what class you are, but certainly somebody who's a senior. And here is the handoff, and taking it is Deadrick Graves, 6'1", 210, 6'1", 210, a freshman.
That kid's got a special few years ahead of him. That's only his 2nd touch of the game, and he managed to get 5 yards, all on strength, by the way, Mark.
Both of these teams are young. You know, talking with Donnie Mays, you know, he spoke of just, you know, how impressed he was with Huntington, and saying that this Huntington team reminds him of the team he had last year for South Charleston that really didn't get to enjoy that complete season, as did a lot of teams in the state. South Charleston played just 6 games. It was forever before Kanawha County schools even got a chance to get on the field. Hand off again to Graves, and Graves going to be taken down there. Good job by Jason Barnett, the nose guard, slowing him up, and then others came to help, and that will bring up 3rd down.
Pretty much no gain on that. Graves came around left side. That was a slowly developing play. It was a deep handoff, and South Charleston was looking for it on the counter direction from Huntington. They haven't run that play a lot tonight, where they put the motion from the left to the right and then come back off the left for the handoff. But that deep handoff really gave South Charleston the ability to read that play and sniff it out.
3rd and 5 here. Certainly 4-down territory for Huntington High. So South Charleston looking to get a stop, and Locko rifling it out, and Graves got his right hand on it, but that will bring up 4th down here.
The ball is sitting on the 27, 34, 44-yarder. That isn't out of the realm of Aya's range. So, of course, I don't know that
I don't think Coach Seals
would do that at this point under 5 minutes. He wants to get his kids. And
game was a little closer. It'd be fun to see.
Yeah, absolutely it would. And it looks like some of those more fresher colored jerseys are in there at this point in the game, Mark.
Graves lines up behind Locko. Locko rifles and finds Wainick for the first down. Wainick at the 9-yard line, an 18-yard rope from Locko to Wainick.
A nice reception. Good, nice pattern by Wainick. He's had a monster game in terms of reception, Mark. He's had over 100 yards in 5 receptions, and one of those was a 0 gain off of that middle pattern that he ran. He was greeted by Dean, but 5 receptions for Wainick for over 100 yards. That's a very productive, very efficient by Locko.
First down play, Locko launching, and the catch is made. Touchdown, Graves. There is a penalty marker down at the 15-yard line, and that's going to be a hold against Huntington, so hold everything. Graves coming into this contest tonight.
Well, unfortunately, that's only the 6th penalty against Huntington tonight, but it's a costly one. As you see, Locko goes back, finds there 2 receivers back in the back of the end zone. He had his choice between the 2, overthrew the 1, and Graves happened to be the recipient of the little bit of the overthrow there.
That would have been his 2nd TD reception of the season. Locko, he's played with a heavy heart this season. His aunt, Julie Diddy Qualls, she was a tennis legend out of Ashland, Kentucky, played professional tennis, died at the age of 44, battled with cancer as Graves fights hard. She was the sister of his mother. Locko comes from a very athletic family. His sister Haven, she's a soccer player at Georgetown, Kentucky, and his brother Torin is a basketball player at Marietta College.
Very athletic family, I would say.
Doubt.
Probably enjoy some nice conversations around a turkey at Thanksgiving.
Locko drop back and takes off, and Locko going to turn on the Jets. 1 man to beat. Locko into the end zone. 24 yards away. 5th TD of the night for Locko. Another look there, Jim.
He's not hurting his scoring average from Locko. Just nice up the gut. He read it right and just accelerated. He's a special player. We talked about that all game. I'm going to say probably I's leg's going to have to be in the ice tub tonight. He's had a lot of action.
Puts it up, and it is through. Break here, 52-21. Huntington on its way to a 9-0 start. We're back in a moment on Video Productions.
Injury at any age can be a game changer, but Marshall Orthopedics, the area's only comprehensive sports medicine practice, is ready to get you off the bench and back in the game. Marshall Orthopedics takes care of the herd. Let us take care of you.
Did you know when you send or receive a text message, you take your eyes off the road for 5 seconds? At 55 miles per hour, that's like driving more than the length of a football field blindfolded. As a result, thousands of people die every year in crashes related to distracted driving. That's why we're cracking down on people who text or use their smartphones while driving. We would rather you cross the goal line alive. Law enforcement officers write tickets to save lives. Don't text and drive.
Little General Stores has served our hometowns for decades. That's why they offer the LG Rewards Card, a way to earn points for free drinks and even discounts on fuel. And by the way, tell them Hug sent you.
Nice run, some of them negated. But
all right, Johnny I set to kick it off again here. Wayne Harris. Actually, I think Harris is out now. And Dean is back there along with McCorkle. So they switch it up here a little bit, and this one is going to hit it about the 4 and roll into the end zone. Well, Jim Mahan, it's 52-21, 3:14 to go here in the game. if someone's just tuning in, this is not a 52-21 game.
No, it isn't. There's been a couple of mistakes, but there's been some explosive plays by Huntington. And this game, I need to remind you, was a 3-point game.
Yeah, 24-21.
24-21 at one point. So it's just been a series of things that happened. We had a bad snap. We had a ball go through the hands of a receiver that got picked off. So we've had another interception later on. So the score doesn't reflect how valiant South Charleston's played tonight.
Trey Dunn. Handing it off. And Dean.
Yep, he's done. Yeah, it's just trying to, looks like they're going to try to play it out. 2:48 left in this one on the running clock. Like you mentioned earlier, Mark, you want to just, play this one out, demonstrate good sportsmanship, try to work on some of the fundamentals. They've still got a couple more games left. And also, both of these teams are going to be in the playoffs at some point later on in the season.
Hand it off, and one guy who has played his heart out here tonight is Dean.
You're absolutely right. That is his 14th time touching the ball. This time he gained 4 yards out of it. South Charleston being very deliberate in what they want to call here with 17 seconds on a rolling clock, play clock left, 1:52 in the game.
2 wide to each side. Dunn will hand it off. Dean banging his way for yardage. Super effort.
Sure was.
Gets it to the 29-yard line.
Calling one fault, one half of a yard short. Looks like South Charleston's probably not having any intentions of punting.
Well, the Highlanders, again, have proven thus far this season to be one of the better teams in the state. And have a flag coming out.
No, we'll get the first down the easy way. Encroachment against the Highlanders, and we'll move the sticks. Their 7th penalty of the game, Mr. Martin.
Yeah, but Huntington's got a lot of weapons. You start with the great quarterback, a plethora of backs, outstanding receivers, an experienced line, tenacious defense, and that's ingredients for a real good high school football team.
Yes, it is. A lot of balance, good coaching, great support.
All right, and it's going to be Mondrell Dean again, flag coming out. Again, South Charleston playing tonight without Emilio Miller and Delvecchio Dias, a couple of key players, both sides of the ball. Well, the biggest thing, you're South Charleston, don't get frustrated. Got 2 games to go, 7-3 record. Can get you into the postseason. And, a lot of times, Jim, especially in this MSAC, we see teams get into the playoffs. They may even go on the road and knock off teams because they've got.
Now, what we have is both teams have explosive players.
Yeah.
We saw that all night tonight. You got great quarterbacks and receivers and returners and kickers, and so they have all the gamut. So anything's on the table when you get to a playoff game, for sure.
Again, it was a 7-0 game, a 7-7 game, a 10-7 game in favor of Huntington. And I should say when it was 10-7, that's a 43-yard field goal by Then Dunn got the touchdown to give South Charleston the lead at 14-10 going into the break. Huntington got a couple of TDs, built up a 10-point edge, but then South Charleston, nice play from Dunn, Dwayne Harris from 29 yards, and that made it a 24-21 game with 3:08 to go in the third quarter. But Just 13 seconds to go in the third. Locko scored, and then Huntington has tacked on 3 more here in this contest.
Yeah, I think Coach Mays is probably going to talk to him about, you finish the game strong. We know they're 29 points down. This is the number 2 ranked team in the state. There is a chance they may play them again down the road. They get on the road and have a good game, have some nice skilled players, both teams. They might see each other down the road.
Now, you never know how it's all going to shake out when that final set of ratings will be released in a few weeks. It's all over here in South Charleston. 52-21 Highlanders on top of the Black Eagles. We'll recap it for you in a moment on Video Productions.
The relationship between a lawyer and a client is based on trust. You have to make certain that the lawyer you hire has your best interests at heart. We typically meet our clients at the worst times of their lives, and it's our job to help them. Over the years, we've been entrusted with some of the biggest cases in West Virginia. That's because we have a track record of success and getting exceptional results. We built a reputation as one of the go-to law firms throughout the state of West Virginia.
Joining me, high-profile lawyer Ben Salango. Ben, it's a real honor to have you on.
In fact, many of our cases come from other lawyers. Lawyers who've worked with us, lawyers who've worked against us, and even those who've merely heard of our results. We're proud of the reputation we've earned in the community for providing exceptional, aggressive legal representation. When you hire my law firm, you don't get excuses, you get results.
For Kindred Communications, this is home. When other broadcasting companies went nationwide, we stayed home.
This is home.
This is home.
This is home.
6 radio stations broadcasting on 9 signals across 3 states. For Kindred Communications,
This is
home.
In the history of Dutch Miller Kia, there has never been a better time to trade in your car. Because of major supply chain disruptions, your vehicle is worth more than it ever has been. Even if you're not looking to trade in your car, we're interested in buying your vehicle at up to 30% above fair market value. We have customers trading in their vehicles that are getting more now than when they paid for it. Learn more and text or chat now at DutchMillerKia.com.
For limited time, get a brand new 2022 Sportage starting at just $189 a month.
We know who we are, where we've been, where we're going. Like hospitals all over America, we are changing, redefining, restructuring ourselves to be the best community health system in the region we serve. We are 2 hospitals with more than 30 locations, 450 providers, and one mission: to heal. As one, we are Thomas Health, caring for our communities today and tomorrow.
No one leaves their home thinking they will be in a car crash. Unfortunately, in West Virginia, more than 1/3 of people killed in car crashes are not wearing their seatbelts. Those who choose to wear their seatbelts stand a good chance to live another day. Law enforcement wants you to have a fighting chance. That's why we are busy making sure everyone is buckled up.
We would rather you arrive safe at all your destinations rather than it be your final destination.
Buckle up, click it, or ticket.
Well, it's all over here. Huntington wins at 52-21 over South Charleston. Huntington now 9-0 in an open date before they close out the regular season. And impressive performance by the Highlanders.
Yeah, a lot of weapons out there on that field. The Highlanders, hats off to them. They just really came out and dominated that second half with the lead that South Charleston had. And they took command in the second half with a lot of balance, a lot of throwing and some running. And then you had Locko just basically taking over 5 touchdowns, 91 yards rushing, 140-some yards passing.
So. Yeah, close game. It was 24-21
yes, it was.
Before Huntington took off and produced victory number 9. They'll play against Riverside on the road November 5th. They have an open date next weekend. Huntington now 9-0. They came in number 2. For South Charleston, they have 2 games to go, Hurricane and Beckley. South Charleston now 5-3. Jim Mahan, great job here tonight.
Yeah, thank you. A great atmosphere tonight. 2 good teams. Had a lot of common opponents, 6 of them as a matter of fact. It's going to set up Huntington very well in the playoffs as they finish out the season. South Charleston's going to be there. Just depends on where they're going to lay as they finish out those last two games. But two teams we're going to see in the postseason.
All over from Black Eagle Stadium here in South Charleston, the Huntington Highlanders victorious 52-21. For our great video productions crew, analyst Jim Mahan, I'm Mark Martin. We say so long for the beautiful campus of South Charleston High School. The Highlanders 9-0 on the season. They take down the Black Eagles 52-21. You've been watching great high school football on video productions.